Shooter ready.
Yep.
Shooter ready? Stand by. Shooter ready. Stand by.
Shooter, are you ready? Stand by.
Shooter ready. Stand by. Ready? Stand by.
Oh, wait, where am I? I'm right there. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Shooter Are You Ready podcast. My name is Midwest Savage, and thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining us, soon to be. I'm not good at this. I just like to, I'm the funny guy on the pod. I'm going to bring in my co-host Paul, where he's taking a drink. I'll bring him in 3, 2, 1.
We made it.
We made it. We made it. We have a slew of guests joining us today. The testosterone is tipping, ladies and gentlemen. We have a group of men in here, and it's going to get awesome. It's going to get really cool. But first, Paul, I mean, I hate to do this, but I love doing this. I love talking about myself. Let's gloat for a minute, okay?
Let's
You
do
and
it.
me, buddy. You and me. This is our podcast, okay? The guests they'll be here. They're in the waiting room right now. Why is my real fucking name up there? Everybody's gonna dox me.
Oh, God.
Let's change that.
Update that quick.
Yeah. See how fast my typing per minute is. All right, boom. There it is.
Was it Mavis Beacon? She'd be beating the piss out of you right now.
Yeah, right.
For how slow that you're typing.
That's terrible. Maybe we'll start from right here. Anyways, podcast's been going for almost a year, Paul. We're no Joe Rogan, but we're getting traction. People are noticing. People see things going.
Yeah, we're getting up there.
We're getting up there, dude. We're getting up there. Things are looking good. As a matter of fact, I'm going to read some good stats I've been looking at here. And first and foremost, I mean, like always, Paul, me and you were coast to coast. You know, we have Phoenix, Arizona. You know, what's up, Phoenix, Arizona? We have Oregon, the tip. It's like the very top tip. Let's see, Bellingham. Anybody been to Bellingham? Yeah, Bellingham. We're huge in Bellingham. And of course, the Midwest, we're wrecking it. Texas, Louisville, Alabama, Florida. You know, all of you guys, appreciate you. Columbus, Ohio, Kansas City, we see you. But I just want to get down to Illinois here. If you are in Oregon or in the Leaf River area and you listen, send me a message, because I drive right through there to go to the range sometimes, and like, let's hang out. I don't know who you are. I appreciate you. Leave a comment. What's up? Don't be
I
shy.
do hate to be that guy, but I do want to respect the people that are out there. Bellingham's in Washington.
Is that what I said? Oregon, didn't I?
You did, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not good with maps. All right,
Hey,
GED.
it happens.
I've mentioned it.
Happens. I just, for the people that are in Bellingham, they're probably freaking out right now.
I didn't mean to offend anybody in Bellingham. I appreciate you up there in Washington.
Crazy thing,
Supersonics.
Bellingham, I think, is really how you get through there. They've got a Costco there and a Trader Joe's that everybody from Vancouver comes down and then smuggles stuff back over into Canada. So
yeah, dude.
They have like wild, not fights, but they've got wild interactions with the Canadians there that are trying to come down and get their TJs fixed.
That's what I'm talking about.
I understand the orange chicken is pretty solid, but I don't think I cross borders.
Dude, don't get me started on orange chicken, bro. We'll have a conversation. We'll get into that later, but let's jump over to if you haven't subscribed to the Spotify, please do if you're listening to this. We appreciate you. It costs you nothing. It does a whole bunch for us. And that also has to do with the YouTube channel. We're steadily growing, looking good. We're at 74 subscribers. People are constantly watching and listening. And once again, we appreciate all of you for hanging out. But enough of me. Paul, how are you doing today? Oh, just thank you. Big thank you to everybody is what I was trying to get at earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing well. I'm really excited about today. This is pretty much just going to be a Masters recap, talk about some things that are going on. We're bringing in some folks that I shot Masters with 2025 this year. We're going to have some other people on to tell us what our new opinions are and what they should be.
Right.
I think we should get down to it with the boys.
All right, I'm going to bring them in first. They're in the green room right now, arm wrestling, and we're going to bring in the winner. Big John won the arm wrestling contest. Big John,
there he is,
ladies and gentlemen. Big John.
We've spoken about him many a time in the chat. Big John is essentially part therapist, part homie, part, I don't know, good time boy.
Tallest guy in the crew.
Definitely, by far.
If you heard me mention Big John and say Big John is Big John, ladies and gentlemen, it's Big John.
Jamie and I are 6-footers, and John makes us look small.
Yeah.
Man, it is great to be here. I've heard my name many times on this cast, and I'm excited to be able to share some thoughts with you guys on Masters 2025.
Also, first AK match, first Masters
Ooh, you could argue Thunder on the Tundra was the first AK match, but I didn't shoot with an AK. We're gonna
time
rile
shooting
an
AK at a
Right.
dedicated match.
We'll dig into it a little bit.
We're gonna bring in the next guy because I'm looking at him here in the green room. He's looking lonely. He's looking like he's getting evicted. But this man is a master of the illustration art. Did I say that right? Is that all? Is that?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I know him as Lonely Scott right now, looking at him in his room. But ladies and gentlemen, you may know him as the Sketchy Lefty.
Hi, welcome to my podcast. I'm super glad that you guys could make it out tonight. And don't worry about that.
Did you paint that yourself, man? See, what I'm saying is the illustration is amazing. Look at that. That almost looks like a carbon copy of what you would have seen at AK Masters.
We're not going to speculate, but but yes. Anyway, super excited to be here. Excited to see what we get into tonight, and just happy with the boys.
Now, see, I'm excited because I wasn't there. I want to hear all about it. I've seen all about it. I've heard all about it from other people. I wasn't there, okay? As many of may know.
Well, you were there because H-Town was there, and nobody can tell the difference between you two, even though he's, I think, a little bit older than you are. But
I have a thicker accent.
Somehow, yeah.
I have more of a Midwest accent than he does.
The more north you go, the more south it becomes.
Yeah, right.
But so we're also waiting on Jeff Tingley Gunhole, who's coming in, and then we've got
Don't
Neil.
say the next guy. Oh, you just said it.
Yeah, but he's going to be coming in. He's going to be coming in a little bit.
Neil Peart, everyone.
Everybody. Yeah. He's here from.
He's bringing his drum set.
He's going to beat the shit out of us in 6-8 time, which is what Rush is known for. But this is kind of 3/4 of the Midwest van crowd. So for AK Masters, we are all, John and I are in northern Wisconsin, for lack of a better term. We're kind of just on the precipice of getting north. So we decided, hey, rather than driving our own vehicles to AK Masters, which was like a 16-hour drive according to Google Maps, let's rent a minivan.
Hell yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but after spending time in the van, I'm kind of a minivan guy.
I mean, my first car was a minivan, so like they got it going on. They'll improve your life in several different ways. But that was clearly the best move we could have made, or you could have made.
What are the odds we get a cat fight in the background right now?
So Dennis was out there already being a menace. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not.
Do you have a cat named Dennis?
I do have a cat named Dennis. Orange cat. That's Ripley. Yep, he doesn't do anything. Funny. That's probably the most he'll do all night. And you know what? I'm kind of proud of him for that.
Good cat.
First time on camera.
It's all about the cameos.
Yeah, right.
You got to force people to watch on YouTube. Otherwise,
cameos.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of that.
Yeah.
But I just got to call out Avis at the Milwaukee airport where we rented the van from. Eat shit and die. It was the worst experience I've ever had picking up a vehicle anywhere.
Dude, can we just agree? Picking up rentals is a pain in the ass.
But it's never like, so now these rental companies, because I travel a little bit for work, and I don't go to like big cities for work. I'm going to like Kansas. And to pick up a vehicle there, it's pretty much I show up and then I'm like, here's my ID. And they're like, beautiful. Whatever Corolla you're picking up for this week is out back. There's none of this like wait in line stuff. Avis was the only one that had a line when we were going in to pick it up. And I waited in line for probably 45 minutes. I get to the front and they go, sir, you're our preferred customer. You didn't even have to wait in line. I was like, really would have appreciated that before I waited in line. So
hey,
then,
now you do though.
Yeah. Now I know. So then I go and I walk out, and John and I are going to do like the co-drive situation where it's like, we're actually going to do this officially, where it's like, he's on the paperwork, I'm on the paperwork. Because if you're driving a van, you're going to speed. The fastest car in the world is the car that you do not own. So John has my truck and is parked out in the cell phone lot. And I go there to just like pick it up. And they're like, you have 4 co-drivers. And I was like, no, because it's like $50 a piece for each one of these co-drivers. So then I was like, I just got the one. And they're like, well, where is he? And I was like, I've got his ID right here. Like, just put his information in. He's with my vehicle. Like, I'm just picking this up. And they're like, he has to be here physically. So then John's driving around and like we have to like hot swap in between. Like he pulls the truck in, I hop over some bollards, and then he goes up and starts going to the desk. And John, I don't really know what happened there. I'm gonna let you take it from here because it was disgusting.
Oh man, so like you said, we hot swapped. We jumped over the Jersey barrier. They typed in my ID once, typed in my ID twice, 3 times, and you think you got it there? No. They just kept doing it. It was about the 6th time before they figured it out, and that was after they called in the backup. This person kept having problems. She tried to charge my card for the bill, which has already been paid for, and I think they tried to charge you again for it later.
Jeez.
And then they said that they had to do everything over. And they said, we need Paul back. I said, Paul's not coming back. Paul's coming.
Forget about it, cuh.
Dude, when I went to KCON, I like, what's the reserve? I reserved a truck. Like, because, I had all this shit. I had my cart and everything. And I reserved a truck. And then this was like a month before I was going to pick it up. They're like, hey, yeah, we're good, dude. We got your reservation. We'll be ready for you. 7:30, buddy. Come on by. 7:30 rolls by. I go up there. I'm like, hey, Midwest Savage here to pick up my truck. And they're like, oh, we tried to call you last night. I'm like, no, you didn't. And then they're like, no, we called. And I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, this number? And they're like, yeah. I was like, no voicemail? And they're like, he didn't answer. And I'm like, leave a message. I didn't know who the hell you were. And they're like, we don't have the truck. And I'm like, you guys have had 30 plus days. What do you mean you don't have the truck?
I feel like this is a Seinfeld episode.
Dude, yeah.
The vehicle's not here.
Where?
But the reservation
the
keeps it here.
Yeah. This is the worst part. They're like, we don't have the truck. And I'm like, okay. And then the guy just basically looks at me, and then he looks down and he just starts.
Oh, you muted yourself by slapping all those keys. Oh, and he can't unmute himself.
Right at the punchline, too.
I know.
Rookie.
There he is. Now you're back.
I was hitting the M key. But dude, he just goes to hitting all these keys like I'm not there. And I'm like, so what are we doing? And he's like, oh, hello. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Mental reset.
Yeah. And then he's all like, yeah, it'll probably be here around 10, hopefully. And I'm like, okay, 10? No. I was like, hopefully. What is that? And he's like, yeah, we don't have a truck. And then he just looks down, starts hitting keys again. And I'm like, we got to do something here, dude. I was like, I got to be on the road in like
find me another
minutes.
vehicle. I'm sure you've got an Escalade in the back.
No, well, that was the thing. I was like, I'm looking out in the parking lot. I was like, what's the next biggest thing you have out there? And he's like, typing on keys again. I was like, it was like, God, I can't even remember what's like the stupid like air stewardess and wedding singer or something like that, who like just kept looking for a flight or some shit. But it was terrible. And then finally he's like, we can give you this car. And I was like, do the seats fold down? He's like, yeah. I was like, give it here, dude. I got to go. And then the worst part was I left my, I bought one of them SMS lasers, laser, something, I don't know, some green laser with an IR light and shit on it. I brought it just to show Tony, and it's in a little black case. And then when I returned the car, I left the little black case in there, and I left it like in the back seat in the door. And I didn't realize it till 2 days later. I was like, where the hell's that laser? And then so I'm calling him. I call him finally, and the dude's like, yeah, that car's not here right now. So
same guy?
No, different guy. He was like, I'll have let me call you back. I'm gonna find out where the car is and see what I can do. I was like, okay. Doesn't call me back all day. They don't answer the phone all day. They close like 30 minutes after I get off work. So I'm hightailing it there after I get off work, and then I show up. I'm like, hey man, I called you guys like right when you opened. I left this thing in the car. Like, did you find it? Did we know what's going on with it? And they're like, you called earlier? I was like, yes. And they're like, what are you missing?
They hit the Uno reverse on
dude, it was the worst.
Number?
Yeah.
No messages.
And they're like,
no voicemail.
And then they're like, well, what'd you lose? I was like, it's a little black case. I told them, I was like, it's a flashlight. It's in a little black case, and they're like, all right, hold on. And he's just like looking left and right, like not even moving, just looking left and right to see if there's a little black case in front of him. He's like, huh. And he turns around and like opens a file cabinet, and then he just pulls out this thing with my name on it and the date I returned the car. He's like, is this it? I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, here it is. I was like, why didn't you guys call me? And he's like, well, we were just see if he was gonna come back and get it. And I was like, what the fuck? You know what car it was in? I call me.
Imagine how many sunglasses that guy has.
Oh my god, dude, that drawer. I want to know what's in that drawer, because I'm sure there's a ton of shit from people who are like, they didn't even call me. It must not have been in there. I'm sure they got like the 30-day rule. Like, this is the 30-day drawer. You know, after a month, anything in this drawer, you know, they got like
it's just a
Lost
pawn
and
shop.
found.
yeah, they got sticky
Yeah.
notes, you know, labeled by month. Like the yellow ones are for June, the green ones are for July. You know, and so thankfully it was like a $300 laser. You know, not expensive, but who wants to lose $300,
Yeah, especially to a car rental company.
dude? So
Dude, I bet they had a lottery system that was
Yeah.
like, all right, who's got June? June.
yeah,
This is your
exactly.
prize.
This is everything in this box is yours. This is everything everybody left in June.
Everything that comes out of a Chrysler goes to Kevin. Everything that comes out of the Toyotas goes to Molly.
I'd be
Everything
pissed if
that
I
comes
got
out
the
of
Chrysler
Fords.
box. Like everything
Oh,
that comes, all the paint starts chipping off of everything in the box. It's rusted already, and you just bought it.
Just instantly.
Yeah. Christ.
Well, we had a Chrysler Pacifica with the
Ooh.
stow and go seating.
Nice.
And let me tell you, that was pretty choice. So after we go through the kerfuffle at the airport, we go and we pick up Scott. And I got to just if you're being picked up by somebody, have your stuff ready.
Oh yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than arriving and just being like, I still got to pack. I still got to find
Oh,
this.
dude,
I
I'd
still gotta
leave.
do that.
I'd leave.
Scott, consummate professional. We pick him up. He's got snacks. He's got the CTC in the back.
Scott's sitting outside on his luggage, just ready to roll.
On my porch, like when you're
That's
6
what
years
I'm
old, and
saying.
you ask
It was
your
almost
friends
close to
to
that.
play.
Solid.
Oh, they're my friends. Yes, let's go.
He directed us to drive through a parking lot so that we could avoid some traffic.
Dude,
and that
that's
was
what I'm
kind of
talking
like
about.
that was kind of like the
Solid.
level set of the trip.
That's
Solid
my
road
backseat driver
guy.
moment.
We had that Chrysler Pacifica up to 100 miles an hour, sideways,
Nice.
reverse.
On 2 wheels.
It was close to 2 wheels a couple of times. We hit boxes with it that then got stuck under the vehicle.
Oh, nice.
That was.
You gotta have excitement when on
I don't
a
think
road
we have
trip,
clearance.
I don't think John's driving and he goes, I don't think we have clearance. And then he locks his wrists out in front of him as we just
Indeed.
plow over this thing in the middle of South Carolina.
Nice.
I will say though, when we stopped at Buc-ee's, the first big one, and you guys had moved the car to go get air in the tires or whatever, because
Yeah.
we had that stubborn back left tire that was just a thorn on our side the whole trip. I came out literally like a toddler wandering through daycare, not knowing where his mom was. It was like, okay, I know it wasn't a Honda, no, it wasn't a Dodge, it wasn't, and I was literally just aimlessly down, gas pump. Nope. I went back inside. No luck there. Came back out, and I was like, you know what? I don't get my phone. I'm done. I'm cooked.
You live at a Buc-ee's now.
Yeah, right.
You could. You
You
could.
could.
I was checking out, and Jeff was in front of me. Jeff got wrapped up, and I saw you in the parking lot, just head on a swivel. Like I could see the existential terror started. Like I just pointed at Jeff. And Jeff, go get Sketchy. Make sure he's okay. Just make sure he knows we didn't leave him.
Hurry up,
Yes.
give him some jerky. Let him know it's gonna be all right.
That SpongeBob caveman meme, that was me in that parking lot. It was fight or flight, and I didn't know what to do.
That's hilarious.
It took us forever to get through Chicago, though.
Oh, that always happens. That always
Yeah.
happens. I don't
It
care what
was-
time it is. I don't care how well you plan it out, what route you think you're gonna take. Never works,
Yeah.
and you're always sitting there stuck.
So I've got a little bit of, we might get away with something a little naughty here too. So my credit card just has stopped working that I bought the van on, and they haven't charged me for the tolls yet. So I have a new credit card coming, and I called the issuer yesterday, and I was like, hey, I need a new card because the chip stopped working. So I can't I'm essentially DOA because I don't know what it is with these credit cards. You put the chip in and it's like, chip's not working, swipe it. I swipe it and then it says, you've got a chip. You need to put the chip in.
Yeah.
What's the fucking point of the
You
swipe?
rub it. You gotta rub it with your thumb. That's what I always do. I always rub the chip with my thumb.
Since I've only got the one credit card and I pretty much go to Quick Trip every single day, I'm sure that those machines have just torn that thing up. I mean, the actual chip portion of it is just
Nice.
shiny. There's no
high
more that's
polish.
So I'm guessing that they're going to in a couple of weeks try to charge me for all of these tolls that we went through, because we were trying to pay attention to the tolls, and then eventually we were just like, fuck this. And then it's just not going to work. And then they're going to be like, well, you need a credit card for us. So I'm going to go, I'm sorry. You have the wrong number. So
I need to
Hello?
talk about two things.
Yeah, hit
They
it.
made me the backup on that card. So they made me give a debit card. So
John got
it hit me.
charged.
oh fuck.
Hit me.
Okay.
Now if that doesn't happen, usually they go to your driver's license and then they'll send it to your the state, and the state will send it to you. So They'll get their
Oh,
money.
boo.
Don't
They'll
you
get
Coming
it.
for you, Paul.
So we're not getting away with this, is what you're saying.
Yeah, no.
No, you might be. I might be getting the bill here. I'll have to keep my eyes peeled for it.
You will notice when you go to breakfast with John and he just slides you the bill and he's like, "You owe me on this one."
So we went through all the great American cities. We went through. Oh, what is it? Because Jeff's gonna get mad at me. Munster, Indiana.
Oh yeah,
Great
Beautiful
cheese.
city.
home of the cheese. Yeah.
Yep.
Very-
Valparaiso. What up, John?
That was Arby's with an elevator. I want to make sure.
Oh,
no
yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Are the roast beefs that big?
Wild.
Yes.
I don't know what it is, but it was just like they don't have the original Arby's sign, like the big hat, but there's an elevator that takes it over the top and then brings it to the other side.
Wait a minute. You go over the hat?
No, it doesn't go
No.
over the
Oh.
hat.
Just like a drive through with a cover over it and it goes over it.
Oh.
I
Yeah.
wonder what it must feel like to be hungry and to just see your meal go.
You know how many years it took me to realize that was a big hat at the Arby's logo? I didn't
What
know
did
it
you
was
think it was? A butt?
No, I had no clue. I didn't know it was a big hat.
Just a scribble, man.
Yeah, I just was like, that's a shitty design. What is that? And then like I saw like the old school one with the cowboy, like with the big hat, and I was like, oh shit, that's a big hat.
Wait, there's a cowboy?
Well, like the old Arby's, I think it had something to do with the hat, somebody wearing the hat.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, son of a bitch.
I guess
Do
it
you
would
think
be
that
kind
was
of a
Arby?
cowboy hat.
Mr. Arby himself. Yeah.
Is Arby a name?
I don't know.
I don't know.
If you're
It's
a
gotta be,
cowboy,
right?
your name better not be Arby.
He had one of them Susquehanna hats from the Susquehanna Hat Company.
I think Arby goes hard. I mean, I would go if I saw a cowboy named Arby. I probably would think a little bit. Ooh.
I'd hang out with him.
I
Look
don't
out,
know.
here comes Arby. You know, you're not gonna hang out with a cowboy named Dwight.
I don't know. Like,
All
I
right,
think
if you
the
have
cowboy is the
two
reason for the
cowboys
hang.
and Carl's Jr. is walking towards you or Arby,
Dude,
I'm hanging out with.
Carl's Jr. That man's been to jail multiple times.
I'd rather hang out with Arby. We got somebody knocking on the door. We're gonna bring somebody else in here to discuss Arby's with us. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him as one of the most hated men on Reddit, and I love him for it. Our guy Neil.
Whoa.
I
What was
wear
that?
that fucking title with a badge of
And
honor.
it's all it is for speaking the truth, and people don't like it, dude. Let's be honest. People hate when you speak the truth on Reddit. I've been guilty of it. You know, not as much as Neil, but I've been guilty of it. I love it though when somebody's in there asking a question, and then like I see like 3 comments of people shitting on it, and then I don't read names. I just start reading comments, and then I read a comment like, well, this guy, he knows what he's talking about, and I look over and it's Neil, and I was like, hell yeah, buddy. You know, I was like, Neil gets it.
I'm here just trying to save the world one fucking comment at a time, right?
Dude, that's what I'm saying. All right, now that Neil's here, let's get spicy, like 3 pepper sauce from Arby's, okay?
I'm here for it. I drank at work a little bit, so we're good to go.
Nice.
I drank on the ride home. Yeah.
All right, yes. Okay, you guys were all at AK Masters, and I wasn't. You guys did awesome. You had a great time, okay? But
By the way, hey, hold on. I don't know if this is discussed, but you were missed and asked for by name by more than one person.
Everyone.
So
Oh yeah.
goddamn,
I need that. That needs to be.
I'm a little choked up. Believe me, I tried. It was just like when I didn't go to Clash Bash. I tried not to look at my phone. I didn't try to open up Instagram because all it was AK Masters feeds, and I was just sitting there watching my kid graduate. Like, damn it, I'd rather be at Masters right now. But
So when people would ask, though, then they would say, "What else does he have going on this weekend?" And I was
yeah,
like,
right.
"Well, he has to
What
watch
could
his
be
kid
more
graduate."
important?
And then they were like, "Oh, he's doing dad stuff. We completely understand that." But
Yeah.
then you posted a photo of you with your son, and you looked like such a dad.
I am.
Everybody was
Full
like,
time
"I've never
dad.
seen him look like this."
Yeah, that's
Like
me.
the button down and everything. And
Yeah,
it was,
it's one of the 4 button downs I have in my closet. That's you know,
On rotation.
yeah. It was either that or the Dickies button up, and that's not the occasion for a Dickies button up. That's funeral attire. Is the Dickies button up?
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. The fuck it ain't, dude. You iron it down. You keep the creases in it.
That's a work shirt.
You can wear it at a funeral.
Dickies is work attire.
I don't know.
Dude, that's
Dickie-
all I wear. I don't own jeans. I have camouflage pants. I have work cargo pants, and then I have Dickies. That's it. There's no jeans in my closet.
I'm a sidebar us. Do you own a suit?
I have 2 suits.
Do they
Okay,
fit?
that's funeral.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a bunch that don't, so I get it.
No, those are wedding suits.
Weddings only. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe it depends on the funeral.
You can wear a Packer apparel to a funeral or a wedding.
If it's like family I like, suit. If it's like an acquaintance or somebody I know, Dickies.
Oh yeah, John. Up here, if you wear a current Packers jersey, that is not wedding or funeral attire.
No,
But if it's
it has to be a
Favre,
throwback.
if it's a Rodgers,
Yeah.
like
He's
a
showing up in
Nitschke,
the Reggie White.
Oh,
Ooh,
Reggie's
Reggie
always
White,
A lot of
available.
respect.
you see a lot of 92s at
We're
church.
trying to pay respect. Look at what I'm
There's
wearing.
that leather jacket
Yeah.
that I don't know where they come from, but every old white guy has one. I'm
Yep.
waiting for me to find it. You guys
Yeah.
are probably familiar with it. It has the Super Bowl logos on it. and
Those
it's just
were
like,
regional Marlboro orders, is what those were. You had to be a
want
big
one.
smoker back in the 80s and 90s
Alright.
to get you a regional NFL jacket.
Let's light them up, boys.
Yeah.
Start.
That's how many packs do you think you'd have to smoke to get there?
Oh, don't even get me
5,000?
started. A lot of miles, as they called it back in the day, Marlboro miles. That's how much time it took off your life.
Did you guys ever have like a kid show up with like a Marlboro jacket on to like school?
At school? Yeah, hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I remember back
You
when
were
they
that
were
kid?
like, no more Joe Cool t-shirts. The Big Johnson shirts are outlawed. All of it, dude.
I remember in the 6th grade there was a kid in my math class who showed up and he had a Playboy belt buckle.
Hell yeah, you did.
And
Stud.
my teacher was like, you have to take, like, you don't have to turn it in or anything like that, but you do have to like take it off. Like it's against whatever.
Then his
And
pants
he
are
was
gonna
like,
fall down. Then he's gonna be
Well-
on a list.
I don't know how belt buckle, like whatever. But he was like, no, I worked hard to get this belt buckle. I had to send in a certain amount of like coupons or something like that. You will not take this away from me.
To get that belt buckle. They
Yeah.
weren't
Yeah.
Kellogg, they weren't
My
the Kellogg's
dad's-
thing off the
My dad's
cereal
got a
boxes.
subscription, damn it. All right. Okay. Back to AK Masters. It's nice to know that I was missed, and I did miss everybody there. Neil, I'm sure you did great. Paul, I'm sure you did great. Big John, Scott, you guys did wonderful, I'm sure. Neil, is an AK? There's a Galil and AK.
Oh, we're getting into this right
Yes, I
away.
want to get right into it
Okay.
All right.
because I'm a little pissed about it. I think it's stupid.
It is. It's fundamentally it's a modernized, updated 100 series AK of what it
There.
should be.
I mean, as far people ask me about it, and it's like the Israelis liked AKs. They wanted to make one. They came up with the Galil. Boom,
Yeah.
done.
and the Galil Ace is just a modernized Galil.
Hello.
Yeah. The biggest, before I jump into that part of it, fire control group interchangeable, pistons interchangeable, gas blocks interchangeable, long stroke. What's the difference? Because I was going to come in hot and be like, hey guys, what makes an AK an AK? Because when I asked that question on Instagram, outside of talking about magazines, no one could answer that question in any sort of like real form of like
Right.
what, like, oh, it's a milled receiver. Okay, cool. So every stamp receiver is gone. Galeos are back in. Okay, it's only a stamp receiver. Okay, then 80% of the guns everybody else owns also gone. Like I have a competition AK-74 that I had Mario build when he was still with Lee Armory before he went to SF Defense. It is a Galil with extra steps.
There you go.
It's like a $3,000 Galil and then I realized that you could just buy that from the factory for $1,000 less. Like, why not just do that?
Yeah.
Why not?
Now, see, I've got into this argument way before it became an Instagram thing because, like, I made a video of like my AK collection, and I remember somebody in my comments was like, "That's a Galil," and I'm like, "Okay, it's not an AK," and I was like, "It's not." I'm taking it apart. I'm like, "Sorry, dust cover, bolt."
The
bolt
dude's
carrier."
name is Balishnikov.
I mean, it's his cousin.
It's
What
like
could
the
have
same
been?
guy.
You know, but it's like I don't know, and like I've said it to Neil, I've said it. People are probably sick of me saying it. It's just a Galil that goes to the gym and works out. Okay, you're like your standard AK. He's just there. You know, he works at a factory. He's not working out. He can move. He can do things. He'll throw the football around with you. But like the Galil's like your cousin that like works out religiously. Like yeah, he's part of the family, but he is just built differently. That's it. That's all it is.
So I feel like there's just people that are against Galils in like competition because
It's the magazines. That's all it is.
But like, okay, John, Scott, you guys haven't been to a lot of AK matches outside of Thunder on the Tundra. Did you feel that having Galils in and around you in any way detracted from your enjoyment, your ability to shoot the match, or achieve the scores that you earned and deserved?
Personally,
Absolutely not.
I think just mentioning the name right now is just making me
That's a
incredibly
trigger word.
uncomfortable.
That's a
I'm-
microaggression right there.
Good.
I'm sweating.
Galil.
Yeah.
No,
He's seizing up.
Not at all. Not at all. I think when you get down to it, I think you can condense an AK into a couple basic things, and that's long stroke, gas piston, rock and lock magazines, and side charging. I think if you have most of those, I think you qualify as an AK. I think where people get hung up on is the method of magazine change. I think that's the end all be all. If you can do a mag change with a P mag or something in 2 seconds or whatever, you have this, crazy advantage over everyone else. Doesn't matter.
Okay, I'm not a piece of shit. I'm not a liar. I'm not. Well, hold on. Piece of shit, maybe sometimes.
I was going the other way, but
okay. Anyways, you can go back in the old podcast and listen to me and Paul on the very first one when we came back from KCON. We slightly discussed this.
Yeah.
2 episodes later, we brought Neil in because I took a sip of the Flavor Aid. Not even Kool-Aid. Didn't even taste good. Okay, and I was like, I don't think the PMags. I feel like it should be Rock and Lock. And Neil basically came on as a guest and smacked me and said, if you really think my half a second more, like faster of a reload out of 10 stages in my 4 to 5 seconds is the only reason I beat you, you've got something else to think about. And I was like, God damn, he's right.
Exactly.
I mean, that's not why you lost. That's not why you didn't beat the guy with the Galil. I know it now. It's God honest truth. It's not. I mean, yeah, okay. He pushes a button, it comes out, he puts the other one in. Oh, well, I had to rock and lock mine.
Well, I mean,
work a little faster,
Nine times out of 10, you're not even reloading on most stages anyway, given the competition,
right?
And certain requirements, whatever. Like at Tundra, we require a reload. Now, do AR Meg Fed Galils have an advantage? I don't think so. But I guess from a feel standpoint, like it feels like it should be Rock and Lock, AK match, Rock and Lock, all that stuff. But when you get down to like the competitive aspect, especially with your higher tier shooters, there's not going to be a gap there.
And I should be just as mad as everybody else because I don't have a Galil that I can just pop a mag out and push one in. I have to rock and lock my Galil ace.
No.
Like all us other Amish people, I have to rock and lock my mag. Okay, and I'm not pissed with everybody else about it. It's stupid. It's a stupid argument.
Yeah. And now I posted this on your post, Neil. When I think of an AK, now granted, I am not detail oriented about the AK world. Paul teaches me a lot of stuff, but I'm trying to retain it all. When someone tells me I have an AK, the first thing I picture is a 7.62, long piston, everything like that. Now, you have adjectives that describe something else, right? I have an AR-fed AK. Okay, still an AK. I have a 5.56 AK, still an AK. You still have that AK at the end of it. And that's the piece that I get caught on. And now, on that same post, I said, no matter what you do, hey, we were talking about playing in their sandbox. I think that was the comment you made. Your sand is always going to be better than theirs because they would rather blame you or the tools you're using than take the introspective result of maybe I could do something better. No, Neil's cheating. No, yeah. I don't want to do that.
So
Neil just cheats.
Here's another piece that nobody seems to realize when it comes to AK Master specifically or me running Galil Aces. I don't own a PMag one. All of mine are Rock and Lock.
A purist, ladies and gentlemen. Neil is a purist.
Well, I just really I'm stuck on that because I knew that as soon as I got into AKs years ago, like this predates my competition time. This is more military side of things. And when I got in the competition side of stuff, guys were going to complain running an ace that wasn't Rock and Lock. So I asked Gresham when I started shooting for IWI, I was like, can I get a Gen 1 Rock and Lock? Yeah, why would you want that instead of a PMag? I was like, because I'm going to hear about it, and I prefer to cut that conversation off from the get-go,
right,
and go from there. So I've always run a rock. I run it in 3-gun, I run it in 2-gun, I run it in 1-gun. I'm a huge fan of the Gen 1 13-inch Rock and Locks. It's my fucking jam, and I know it's hilarious because nobody wanted them. They had couple hundred them in country. Nobody bought them, and they sold out. And then now everybody wants one, and they command a stupid price, which is ridiculous. But to put it into numbers, Josh Frolich usually runs a 7.62 by 3.9 ace, rock and lock, regular mag.
He runs it so damn well too.
He runs it well. So he did not bring that to Masters this year. He had some hiccups with ammo or mags or something, and he didn't trust it, so he just wanted to jump to a light one instead. So he ran a PMAG version against a Gen 1 Rock and Lock. He beat me by in running an armored by 5.73% over 10 stages. I didn't lose him from a reload because guess what? I never reloaded ever at that match. I ran 50 round South African mags. If you have a 7.62, you run drums. You run 40 round mags. If you have a 5.45, you have 45 rounds. The reload now. If you're coming to me because we have a bunch of like Clash Bash is a perfect example. A bunch of super fast burner stages. Most of those stages were 15 to 20 seconds long. There's conversation to be held around a reload because if you lost by half a second, you lost by a second, just like we talked about before, Jamie, in the first time I was on here. If that is the separation, okay, then we can have the conversation. But the dudes that are complaining about it are placing 100th. They're placing 110th. And I'm like, no offense, I don't give a fuck about your opinion.
Get him, Neil. Get him.
The thing is you're not as good of a shooter as you think you are. You run your little circle that you're in your small pond, and you came to the big pond, and you got your shit pushed in, and your ego hurt. And it's happened to me. Like when I came back from Syria in 2016 and went to my first competition, I was like, I'm gonna bust these fucking nerds. Like, dude, a bunch of Discord fucking assholes. Like, they ain't got shit on me. I put people into the ground for a living. I got my shit pushed in and was 5th from the bottom. Like, it's a game. Play the game. Mm-hmm. And I'm tired of hearing dudes that can't shoot complain that they're losing because of a inabstractable thing. And here's the other part to it. Galil aces are not as expensive nowadays compared to AKs as you think they are. No. They're $1,500 to $2,000. A good, well-built, quality race AK is going to cost you at least that, if not more. It's not
so
that...
If you hate on people with Galils, if you hate on people with Galils, what Neil's trying to say is mow a couple lawns. All right, save some money.
Well, the other thing that I really dislike is when people are saying, "Well, it goes against the culture." You're the arbiter of what AK culture is right now. So everybody should just be shooting Wasser 10s. I just don't. And you go out and you shoot one match a year so you can LARP with your buddies. Cool. I'm really happy that you do that. But if you want to say, hey, I also want to compete, if this was golf and you showed up with a bag of sticks that you bought at an estate sale for $100, and then there's a guy that's got blade, Mizunos next to you, and you go just like, man, those blades should be banned.
Yeah.
You'd get laughed off the course. It's just you are choosing to run this based on what you want to do. Nobody is walking in your house and just being like, you have a Galil?
Yeah.
Fuck you. You're running a Wasser now. You can show up to these matches with whatever you want.
Yeah.
As long as it is an AK, and that's part of the culture. Where when before it would be you're showing up to a 3-gun match with an AK and people would look at you almost with disdain in some ways because that just kind of meant it's cheap and you don't really know how to shoot.
This guy's not serious.
Yeah, exactly. But
all the time.
Yeah. But you're choosing to run this. Right. That's where I'm getting that's where I'm getting the most frustrated.
Paul's getting a little worked up right now. Yeah,
nobody's coming into your house and
get him, Paul.
You have to run this. If you want to place first, cheat.
Yeah.
If you can't win, don't play.
If it's within the rule set.
Yeah,
that's clear.
No,
but
okay.
in their mind, it's cheating. So it's just you're cheating over here because you're running this. Cool. Then you do that.
The reason you lost isn't because you don't have a Galil. It's because you need a new optic. Okay, buy the best optic out there. That's why you're not shooting good. You know, don't show up with your True Glows when you need to be buying EOTechs. That's what it is. I've learned that over the years. It's all about the expensive optics if you want to be a better shooter.
That's one way to climb the ladder,
Boom.
right?
Right? Get all the expensive parts on it, and guess what? You'll start podium.
I
You'll be
have a
up there.
feeling that Neil with a True Glow would smoke me with an EOTech. I just want you to. I want to be
Neil would-
honest there. I want to be honest.
You
Neil
could
with
give
a
Neil the
stick.
Nerf ball Zuka, and he would show me up.
You know one of those
Okay.
kitty lasers that you put and you chase around your cat? Like he could tape one of those
Yeah.
to his gun and he'll run me down.
I mean, it's okay. And now they're like trying to like, you know, conjure up new rule sets. This should be the rules. This should be what it is. The only thing I'll agree with is you can set mag limitations. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Not everybody has a drum. And then there's people running drums. They don't have to reload. Whatever. Okay. The reload, like you said, Neil, isn't run mag limitations. And I'll follow you with that one. I'll get on that bus. Okay. But you're not going to ban Galils. You're not going to be like, no, he beat me with his Galil and I had a Visca, you know, and that's why I lost. First of all, you lost credibility because you have a Visca. Okay. That's point one. All right. I'll give you that. But I have seen people run Viscas and they didn't do too bad. They didn't beat Josh Froelich that year, but it's not because he had a Galil. It's because he was running stages in like a, you know, 35th of the time I did, you know, because he's good. That's why he won. All right. So
much
shoot
of
more.
it- so much of it is just like it's obviously a skill issue. People aren't training. I feel like 99% of people aren't training as much as they say they are. And then the other half of it is defending a purchase. You know, hey, I made this purchase.
Yeah.
I'm going to go post about it before I even shoot the damn thing.
Guy at the gun store
And-
told me this was a good one.
Yeah, and I want everybody to be like, oh, that's so sick. That's so cool. What are your plans with it? Or like, oh, cool, you got that EOTech on it or whatever. And people just want to live in that echo chamber of, yes, I made a good purchase. Yes, this is good. And then when they actually show up to use it and that skill issue shows up and they're not good and they're slow and everything like that, they just try to reach out. Oh, I can blame this. I can blame that. This is a little bit different. You know, people love to ostracize something that's a little bit different. And Galils definitely are a little bit different. Not that that's a bad thing at all. But yeah, that's what I think.
One of the best responses I had to the whole thing was, okay, we all know Mark Krebs, right?
Mr.
Mark-
Krebs.
Mark Krebs is not the most social media influencer guy out there.
I
Okay?
love his posts though. It's always
Yeah.
a screenshot of somebody else's post.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like my dad on Instagram.
And he like,
fantastic.
and dude, if you watch it enough, if you look at his stories, it's like so overlapped of so many people sharing this. Like I'll share something he shares, then he shares that I shared it. I'm like, Mark, you don't got to do that.
When you drag the Windows screen across your screen, it glitches all the way across.
Yeah,
like
yeah, that's exactly what it is. But I was there last Saturday, and I was scrolling through Instagram, and like the Galil versus AK thing is still going on, and here's me and Mark working on a Galil, and I just said to him, I looked at him, I said, hey Mark, is a Galil an AK? And he stops what he's doing and he looks up at me. He goes, yeah. Who the fuck says it isn't? And I was like, everybody online right now. And he's like, why? And I was like, I don't know, Mark. I was like, that's the thing going on right now. And he's like, bunch of fucking idiots. And then he just goes back to work. And then I was like, damn, I should have recorded that, you know?
When
'Cause,
the
I
fuck
mean-
did we get ice cream?
Yeah, exactly. And it was just like such a simple response of him just like being like looking at me like, is this a serious question? And then I was like, yeah, that's like what everybody's freaking out about right now. He's like, well, why is everybody mad about it? And I was like, I don't know, Mark. I don't get it either. But I mean, it's
Dude,
a
if there was
argument.
one person at AK Masters that I think you could almost make an argument was not running an AK, it was actually John, because he was
the 300 black.
a 300 blackout PSA crank.
I'll
How
defend
dare
that, dude.
you bring that up without even a warm up?
300 black is just America's answer to 7.62 by 39. That's all that is.
Look, you can fight me on it all you want, but a short barrel 5.56 doesn't make sense in my brain. You lose
It
all
doesn't.
the power. It's just loud. It's obnoxious, and it really cool. You did
The
it.
ballistics aren't
Whatever.
there, dude.
But now you got an 8-inch, 8.5-inch barrel, 300 black, burning the powder, a little bit
Yeah.
bigger. You know what? I think that's what the crank should have been made for. Now, obviously, like you said, the other calibers that I'm obviously not educated enough to know about because I'm American focused.
That's why it's 300 black.
Like 2009, I reloaded 4,000 rounds of 300 black. Now we're gonna go out of my hold on, Neil. You're gonna cringe when I say this. Out of my side charge 16-inch AR, I was gonna launch out with all these freedom seats. I learned, I grew, and now I have the crank, or we call it affectionately the crank, because it hammers.
It
And,
crunks.
It cranks so hard it crunks.
Yeah, it did become a clunk because I got too heavy, and long story short, it's an AK. Anyone who's a problem, it's a 300 black AK. As we talked about it, at the end is what matters.
Still an AK.
The only reason why I say that somebody could make an argue for that is because of the gas system. It has an AR gas block under the handguard that's turned around that then has like a tiny little gas tube that goes forward. But it's so esoteric, it doesn't matter.
Isn't that
They did it before.
original?
That was an original design.
Yeah.
That was done before.
The Russian one does that too.
I know.
And it's
Almost like we learned from the other guys that did it already.
You stop that talk. I think judged on the noises the 300 black made going into the water on the spiker stage alone was enough to be like, all right, that's kind of cool. That was fun.
Me and Paul talked about this for a while, about how many people are going to pick on me, how many people are going to say, hey, you aren't part of the culture, you're all these other things. I even made the joke about it. I was like, hey,
this guy's a phony.
Yeah, like I don't even care. Like I'm bigger than them all. I'm just gonna look at them.
I'm bigger than them all.
Like
let them say something to me.
Bye.
We were all saying that behind your back anyway.
People were actually like, "Oh, is that the 300 black? Oh, can I shoot it?" We had an RO on that long range, that window, whatever stage that was, with window poke. He grabbed it and he shot at the steel 3 times, hit it, ping, 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 and he goes, "Oh, this is kind of nice, man." Yeah, I enjoy it. I'm not problem with it.
The Earth is round, but 300 black shoots flat.
There you go.
That's
nice.
That's my trademark line. You gotta
like that.
You gotta put me on the sub note.
That's nice.
That was
T-shirt.
That was kind of the theme beforehand, because we were getting ready for the match and we walked it out to 200, 250.
I think 249 was the laser.
Yeah,
very specific there.
And I mean, we were lobbing subs in for that, and it was like, oh, this might actually perform. And I think he did pretty well overall.
You know, right.
Quick question, John, for you. Roping back into the first time I was on here, what kind of groups are you getting with subs at 100 out of
subs at 100? We're getting in right around the 1.5 to 2 with the sled. Now, again, we can talk about, I know there's a couple podcasts before about Reddit and how people do it, right? So we got Paul and me both putting the shots on it from a lead sled, from a no wind. And partially the issue is my dot's a 2 MOA. So when you get into that, as you're trying to get into...
You're within dot size.
Yeah. We had some issues at first, and I think I figured out that it was a dot, locked them in. Now, Fiochi ammo is, when I'm running for the supers, those guys are in that inch to inch and a half, pretty consistent. Subs, Hornady had a 210, 220, whatever that was, at a flat tip. Those ones were magnificent. Out of all the ones I ran, those just chewed it up, and it was just perfect.
Okay. I asked because I was running. I did a little subsonic project with my 83762 Galil, and I was running a 4 MOA Comp M2, and I was getting about 3 MOA out of the subs, which is a little bit bigger than what you were getting, but a bigger. You're running twice the size of a dot, so all mine were within my dot, all yours were within your dot, and at a certain point in time, there was Paul made the comment of, what's the diminishing return? Because you can't aim tighter than that. So as long as they're all within the dot, you're fucking set, right? So
I agree.
I'm just curious of how that gun was performing with subs, because I am one of those pretty fucking hard, honestly.
And not a hiccup all match, right?
Not a hiccup. There was one problem where I made the mistake of trying to charge it again and half charge it, and then I created a double feed. That was my own dumb ass fault in that small little car they got me in.
It was pretty big, but
it was pretty small. All right, guys. I'm like hunched in there trying to get around.
I was swimming in that thing, man.
But also, John, for context, how tall are you? You're bigger than me.
I'm 6'4".
So he's Big John.
But then also, like, how much you weigh?
320.
You got an inch.
That's his salary.
You're a large man. Like that.
That's why we call him Big John.
Yeah.
No, it's just.
I just want people, if they're listening to this, context of like how big Big John really is. Like he's not a small guy.
Oh yeah. Hey.
Oh, look at that beauty.
So the big thing that I had to do was the length of pull. when I had the 9-inch folder on it, like my nose was touching the dust cover, whatever you want to call it. So I had to kind of hot rod something up so that way I got the right length of pull on it. Did the Vukov. Now Paul got me on that right connectors, Zukov, excuse me. It's the right connector. So there's like 2 connectors happening underneath this goon tape. Ignore it. Just keep it moving.
Nice.
I don't see anything.
We have the
Loctite is your
SCRS.
friend, dude.
Look, we fixed it later. This is just, hey, this is a test run. Run it out, see what happens. What you'll see here is a Bakelite hand-me-down from Paul. That's the good luck charm on my gun right there.
What a friend.
These Bakelite grips.
Is that a
nobody
Polish?
Wanted. It's not. It's not a Polish
Oh.
fatty. I don't know where this one came from, actually. I have like a box full of these. Because for the longest time, if somebody was like, oh, you're into AKs? Here, have this garbage. Like nobody wanted these for whatever reason. So I just had a lot of them. So now if somebody that I know gets into AKs, I'm like, here, have this. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Real
Is this,
Bakelite.
yeah, is this that wood stuff everybody's freaking out about?
Yeah.
Those wood
clip,
magazines?
The wood clip.
Yeah.
So, I got the SCRS Hollow Sun. I put it farther back, closer to my eye as a test run. I know most people put it forward, but I was trying to see, can I get the field of view open up a bit more? And I was trying to see what dot size it was. I really liked where it ended up. I put a CMC, or what do they call it? The yellow jacket trigger in it. Trash. Throw that whole thing.
Oh,
in the
dude, don't
garbage.
get me started on that shit.
That thing was garbage.
The drop-in
all right?
trigger that's not a drop-in trigger?
No, and it says it's a 1-stage. First off, I came from AR world, okay? I will be honest. I think 2-stage triggers are junk. I understand that they have a place, but I want single stage. I want crispy. I want no pre-travel, and the over-travel better be a bee's dick. So when I heard Yellow Jacket, thinking, we got a bee's dick trigger, I'm in it. Fuck that thing. Fuck. I was having problems with it. Rolling triggers, whatever. Now I changed. I got a Timney. The Timney is the better one I found so far out of it.
Oh, I
I'm
do love
there's
a
other
Timney.
ones that I have to work through, but that's where it stands. The RS Regulate handguard, that was just because my hands were actually wrapped around it too much. That gave it a little bit more girth. I hate the upper handguard where it rattles. I know that seems like that's part of the culture, boys. I understand it.
AR guy.
Yeah, I'm going to shim that. That was what the goon tape's there for, is to tie that bitch down. I don't want it to wiggle. I want it to be locked in when I have it locked. So right now I have it shimmed a little bit more underneath that little pin there with some aluminum. And then we got this.
You shimmed it?
Yeah, you'll see. Don't worry. We'll be at Mitten State.
Nothing
You'll
wrong
see
with a
what's
little
locked
shim
in.
here and there.
Who cares? It works.
Mr. Mods.
This junk up top. Okay, so the 24 by 1.5 was not available for dead air. All right, it just was fucking gone, and that's where my problem was. But I needed to shoot it, so I got the dead air to hub
Enhanced.
mount, the hub to Plan B to the Riordan 24 by 1.5.
Look at Neil over there just like, what the hell?
Neil, it worked, and I was able to run it.
Stacks
now-
on stacks on
now-
stacks.
Yeah, right.
You can't see right now, but I have it ordered. Oh god, everything's falling over here. I got most of it. I just need the retaining pin. We fixed
Yeah, it looks good.
So
I think I heard a rattle there.
well, that's the spring. It's the spring. I put it there so I didn't lose the spring.
I don't know.
It had like an M14 like ping to it. When
Oh,
you
it did,
fired.
yeah. It had the flash hider, which is a 4-prong
Good
flash hider,
tuning fork.
and
Yeah.
it did a really great job at flash hiding. But I'm not ever going to run it without a can, so I don't care anymore.
There
so
you go.
we tuned it up, Mitten State. Neil, maybe you're there. I'll let you run it if you want.
I will not be there. Other obligations in life.
All right, that's fair.
Your
that's
son's
fair.
graduating. We get it.
Whatever.
Not even that important. I'll just be honest.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
you don't
I mean,
want to you don't want to fly in for one day to go to the middle of nowhere, Michigan,
Yeah.
to shoot a match.
There's a roller coaster there this year.
Can I shoot from it?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
you're doing. Yeah, see?
Oh,
did
he
he just
left.
leave?
He just bailed.
I hope he hit the wrong button. I hope he didn't bail on that.
Man.
Well, while we're trying to figure out what happened to Neil, let's just get talking about the ammo prices recently, ladies and gentlemen. If you're trying to save money on ammo, okay?
There are
Tell
some
us-
things that you should not do. If
What
you
what
want to
is that,
save
Paul?
some green by shooting some green,
Do not.
do not go to teleimpex.com.
Do
Do
not.
not buy 1,000 rounds of Tele 7.6239. Do not use Savage 25 at checkout to save some green.
You don't even have to buy 1,000 rounds. You can buy, I think, like 10 boxes is the minimum.
Listen, I
of not
know
buying,
our target demographic here. You
Yeah.
need 1,000 rounds.
right? You need to shoot more.
Yep.
Shoot cost effectively.
Shoot talent.
Yeah, Savage 25. Save yourself a little bit of money. I don't know what happened to Neil, but all right. Enough of the BS on hating on everybody. This was supposed to be an AK Masters episode, and as you know, this is Shooter. Are you ready? So we have jumped off of the original plan here. I don't know if Jeff's coming in. Tommy texted me. He's in the garage working on Mark's Jeep. He doesn't have any cell phone battery because he never does. Seems like every time I'm talking to Tommy, he's looking for a charger for his phone. I don't get it. But
It's like Eastern European thing.
how did
Here he is.
He is. The Croatians, look at that handsome face.
Just scratch what I just said.
Oh, there he is.
Tommy, you got
fuck.
your phone plugged in?
Yeah, you just got out of Cheech's car,
It's
man.
plugged in.
And there we go.
What's up, guys?
Why don't you guys go ahead and talk about your fantastic time at AK Masters, and I'll just sit back here and act like I was there and enjoy it.
Well, I don't really know where to start. Like, do you guys want to talk about stages, or do you want to talk about like
I think
just
you
like
could
what was
go
possible?
chronological first, because Tommy was there the day before us. Is that right? Where he was doing a course first or the walkthrough?
Oh yeah, he
Tommy,
shot
do you
with Neil.
Yeah, do you want to just talk through what that
Tommy,
was?
quit moving around so much.
I'm trying to get it stable while I'm charging.
Watching the Blair Witch Project.
Mike!
Be safe. Be safe out
Balancing
there.
it. Hold on.
Oh, a Croatian man in a garage wearing a wife beater. This never happens.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Historically accurate.
What am I gonna say? No comment. Yeah, so I was there for the clinic. Mainly, I wanted to sign up for Mela just to kind of get comfy walking. Neil said he was going to do some like walk and shoot, and that's one thing she was kind of struggling with. So I was like, all right, let's do it. I signed up for it. The course was cool. It was just like him walking through, getting us comfy, doing things that I didn't even think of until one of the stages, the shoot house, that it actually helped me. But
Like
just-
movements and stuff, or
so I would walk and he'd be like, you just shot twice without having both feet on the ground while you were walking. And he's like, get your focus to boom, step, boom, step, boom. So as you're planting both feet on the ground to take that shot versus mid step, and then you're kind of shaking and your sights moving all over. So the first time I did it, it's fucking hilarious because I'm the first one to go, like first one to walk it, and he's just like, "All right, I just showed everyone. Now you do it." I did it, and he just looks at me and goes, "All right, you know how to walk? You know how to shoot? What the fuck was that? Like, do them together." And yeah, no, it was. He was like, "You're just thinking too much. Like, you just thought like I have to take a step and shoot." He's just like, "Just do it. Just fucking walk. Take your step, shoot, and it'll work out." And I was like, "All right." The next time I did it, I was like, "Okay, so no more thinking. Just fucking do it." And little things like that help. I don't know. I was just so. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to take anything from. I mean, Neil's a great shooter. I was going to at least learn something about a story, but I took a few things from that little crash course, and then just even walking through and hearing him kind of plan things out was nice.
Neil thought we kicked him off. I'm just speaking of Neil. I just texted him. He's like, "Did you just boot me off after that last comment?" I was like, "I don't know what happened, dude. Jump back in if you
He
want."
doesn't like roller coasters. That was his end game. He just can't do with roller
Just
coasters.
an
He's out.
anti-roller coaster crowd.
Yeah.
He says he's in here. I don't see
I wonder
him.
if that, Paul, you had that in the warm up here where you kind of.
Oh yeah, you have to like restart.
Who, me?
If you Neil, if you refresh
Yeah, I'll
the
tell him
page.
right now.
So
No,
well, you
but
definitely carried over a lot onto the match, Tommy, because you were shredding.
It was cool. It felt good, and I definitely like the shoot a day before your actual match. You kind of get a few of the jitters out and focus in on stuff. So it was definitely, it helped.
so you actually got to shoot some?
I
Oh,
didn't
no.
get to run stage. We just like shot, and he would just set up things like what we
Here he
would.
is.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
Are you drinking from a mason jar?
Yeah.
That's
All right.
actually gas.
Yeah,
Gasoline.
that's gasoline. All right, here's Neil. Neil's back.
That's
Neil's
also
drinking from a-
gasoline in
also
his
drinking
cup.
gas.
Neil's drinking from a glass like a sophisticated gentleman, while Tommy's
Yeah,
in the
that's
garage
my-
wearing a wife
still
beater
saying
drinking from a mason
gasoline.
jar. Yeah.
So, Neil, we were just
That's
talking about the
radioactive.
clinic that you ran pre-Masters. From a running perspective, how do you think that went?
So,
A strong silence.
Take your time.
yeah, I overheard most of that because I was sitting there. I got kicked to the fucking backstage, and so I was like, I could hear everything y'all said. So thank you, Tommy, for being polite and nice to me. So what I wanted to do in that class was not what I was allowed to do. So that was kind of an afterthought, and I say that in the nicest way possible. So let me preface the class and how all that came about. I tried to do it at Clash Bash because we were out there. We drove out doing the gas block installs and having the booth with IWI and Pro 2. And I was like, hey, Clay, like you have 4,000 attendees or 2,000 attendees or whatever that was and 300 shooter slots. You have a lot of AK shooters that need some introduction to AK shooting, introduction to competition, these kind of courses. Can we allow that to happen? He was like, I would love to, but we don't have space. I was like, cool. Well, I'm going to bug you for a bit, but I'm going to kick that can down the road. And I reached out to, he's going to be mad if he hears this. The angry Marine that runs Clinton House.
Somebody say a name.
I was gonna say I don't know any names, dude. I'm so bad.
We respect you and appreciate you, sir.
Yeah. So I reached out to him. I was like, hey, like I would love to come on a shooters class. I talked to Justin at PSA, and I was like, hey, is it possible to do this on the matches on the back of the mat the day before? He goes, yeah. Mike Sexton, that's who I'm thinking of.
Great guy.
And fantastic dude. Like but he's a 20 plus year Marine warrant officer. Like his bullshit level is about fucking zero.
Oh, so he knows I don't know who he is.
Which is great. Mike's a great dude. And he was like, yeah, you have access to all this. You can do this, do this. And I was like, cool. Now 3 months out. And then 3 weeks out, it changed. And then 3 days out, it changed. And when I showed up, it changed. So, I'm used to, I've taught guys in Ukraine during the war. I've taught guys in Syria. I've taught guys in Iraq. So I was like, I can make do with the most minimal possible. So I had to shrink down what I wanted to do with everybody. So what I wanted to give to students wasn't the deliverable wasn't what I wanted. Given the situation, I feel like it was pretty decent. I did not realize that how many people were going to show up to the course with unzeroed guns that claimed they were zeroed.
What?
Dude, half the day was spent verifying zero for dudes. Like I had a guy.
It's crazy.
And
That's AK culture right there for you.
Yeah.
Just
That
show
Guys
up.
running
with
a
it.
blue with AR mags.
Rifle
Yeah.
is fine.
What happened, Neil? I pulled up. We hit the 50. I went pink, hit the 100, pink. Had Mela do it. Same thing. I was like, we're good.
Yep, you're
That's
good.
how you
And
do it.
because you guys did it right beforehand, you put in the 10% that needed to perform. I had a guy come in zero. He was like, "Oh, look, what distance you going zero at?" I said, "I'll shoot at 50." So he shot 50. He's like, "All right, you need to come up." He goes, "Oh no, I'm zeroed at 100." I was like, "Why don't you say that? I'll put a target at 100 for you." So we put target at 100. He's 8 inches low, and he's like, "I zeroed at 100." I was like, "You sure as fuck didn't?" And he's like, "No, I did." I was like, "Well, you need to come up 8 mils." He goes, "What do you mean 8 mils?" I'm like, 8 mils, 8 inches at 100 yards. Come up 8 on your optic. Are you sure? Yes, I'm positive.
Question a guy with great hair
everything.
like that? How dare he? Yeah.
Oh man.
So he comes up 8 mils. Now he's on target. I'm like, cool. But I had to do that 12 other times.
Almost every rifle. There's a few like I forgot her name, Marge or
Yeah.
So her shit was set. I think it was like a small tweak. Everyone else is pretty quick. The fucking Galil. Do you remember that?
Which one?
The Splody one that we both got hit with shrapnel.
That was not a Galil.
Oh yeah. It was a Galil 47.
That was a hodgepodge of bullshit that somebody put together in a shop they called a shop. That was fuck was it? Cody? Who was that? What's his fucking name? I can remember. He's a former Ranger too. I'm like, bro, you know how to shoot. Come on, like you're a battalion boy. Like you have a history of putting fucking metal into meat. And he was like, I don't know what's going on. I was like, what do they teach you in fucking battalion, bro? Like, fuck. That aside, yeah,
probably ropes mostly.
We had an out of battery detonation stuck. Like it was just this whole fucking thing with PSA ammo. So I was like, hey, take a picture, send it to Justin, go down and talk to him.
Too soon.
Which, funnily enough, all of the PSA ammo on the spiker stage worked just fine.
Perfectly fine.
Kind of cool to see. But yeah, I think to answer your question, I feel like the course, I think that getting a good zeroed gun and doing some good stage walks was worth the $20 that people had to pay because I wasn't trying to make money. That's normally a course I literally charge governments $2,000 a day to do.
Get them.
And so for $20, I was like, you got a good zero and you got a good stage plan. In hip pocket training, shoot on the move. No one does that because what you should be doing when you're moving, either reloading or shooting. And I see a lot of guys stand and deliver with there's nothing wrong with that, but you're never going to win that way. So find seconds where you can, find half seconds where you can. And I feel like, Tommy, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was a solid takeaway. And for a 10-hour day like that, there wasn't much more I could really cover because I spent 4 hours zeroing people's rifles.
No, I honestly, it was worth just like kind of picking your brain on the walkthrough, let alone helping these people finish the course. If you just think about it, like if those guns weren't zeroed, how much of a shittier time they would have had the next day.
Right.
So that's like just even that. That's what I was telling you, Jamie, for that thing. Like have people come zeroed.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big thing that kind of digs away at the time. And it's like if your tool's ready, just use it. Yeah.
And I fly into majors usually a day early, even if I'm not doing anything side missions or stuff, just to verify zero. Like I'll get in around noon, get to the Airbnb, get checked in, grab my gun, grab my rifle, go to the range for the hour that they're open, and just check because there's so many different variables. Maybe your optic got bounced in travel, maybe something happened. Like just make sure your gun's zeroed and then get atmospheric data because like we go to Memorial 3 gun and we shoot to 740. And I've done that with my Galil. I've gone to 1,200 yards with a 13-inch Galil and got impacts. Like guns are capable. It's just make sure if you put in bad data, you're going to get out bad data, right? So make sure the data you're putting in is solid. A zero is the first step to that, especially at 200 yards.
So Neil, having now instructed people all over the world, if you had to rank them, who takes instruction better, Tommy, people in Syria, Iraqis, or those in Ukraine?
So this is kind of a weighted scale. Tommy's at the bottom.
Tommy doesn't know how to count.
Do a jumping jack now.
I say this with love because Tommy needs to go shoot a match tomorrow and is pretty confident in his equipment and he's doing okay. When I'm telling you that you need to learn how to shoot this gun because tomorrow you're going into an actual gunfight, you might die. You're going to pay a little more attention. Not saying Tommy didn't pay attention, but the captive audience of guys that understand that it's not if, it's a when. It sinks in a little faster with them. Like we had a couple guys in Syria, and by a couple guys I mean a whole platoon worth. That we were training to shoot. I couldn't get these dudes to hit iron sight AKs at 50 yards, like a legit like 50 by 50 square. And 2 days later, we got overrun by ISIS, and these dudes were dropping bodies like they've been doing this their whole lives. And I was like, see, why couldn't you have done this yesterday? And you're doing it today, but I'm glad you're doing it today. But what the fuck was yesterday about? Kind of thing of like, I'm glad it sank in, but like, fuck.
Maybe Tommy just needs somebody to throw hand grenades at him the entire stage. And
Yeah,
then
right.
that's where
Live fire.
He's our.
I'm telling you that well, the one time you did at the birthday, I didn't even phase me. I'm fucking deaf, dude. You're like,
I was throwing flashbangs at him.
Yeah. Flashbangs right before I ran. I was like, okay, cool. I didn't even notice until I watched the video. I was like, cool.
I'm sure everybody here has seen Full Metal Jacket.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
And the scene where he's talking to Animal Mother, the big dude with the 60, he's like, yeah, he's a great dude. He just needs someone to throw hand grenades at him the rest of his life.
That's
Like,
exactly what I was talking about. Yeah.
That's his guy.
but Tommy, do you feel
But
like
I will say the takeaway from the course, like
Yeah.
that shit burned a fire under my ass. Like I ran some of those stages the next day, like I've never ran. So I'll take that shit. Like it feels good. Like if I could have a course like that before every match, Neil, or just like a fuck around, like get my ass to move right before.
If I could just
That's
fly
right.
Neil out the day before every match I go to.
So I'm actually trying to work with master directors with IWI to have that as an option.
Nice.
To make that not saying me specifically, but like just having a tune-up or like let's say you get a bunch of dudes that can get an extra day off work. I understand that's a big ask for a lot of people, but just give somebody a day for you to get used to range commands, get used to the safety, get used to moving, get used to the environment you're going to be in for the next 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours. So that way you don't DQ for something stupid. You don't worry about height over bore like the guys 2 years ago that shot the back of the Suburban. Like there's plenty of opportunity to just get more comfortable. There's always more time to be more comfortable if you can allow it. And I think that value add is super high for the majority of AK shooters. Because a lot of them, like when they go to Clash Fest, they go to Masters, they go to Mitten State, they go to KCON, they go to Red October Cold War. Like that's their one major a year.
Yeah.
And so they're just not comfortable. They don't do it, and they just
Yeah.
when you're not used to something, you fuck up, and then you have to go home, and you're a couple $1,000s into a trip, and that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
IWI want that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's another line right
so
there for you.
if IWI watches this and here's Neil, get on it.
Gresham will watch this, I guarantee. Like,
I'm down. I would love something like
Because
that.
he has 5 season tickets right here.
Yeah, right. No, Neil, I high five you for that. That was very admirable of you to do that. Taking the time to help people out like that was pretty awesome.
and that,
Well,
I mean,
High five to you, Neil.
Especially with all the zeroing that goes on. I mean, John and I have gone to some rifle classes where it's like, hey, we're here to really put some serious rounds down range. And they're like, all right, we're going to lay down at 50. How confident are you in your zero? And I was like, hell yeah, I'm good to go. And I was off. And like, I think most people in the class were, except for one guy. And then he was just like, yeah, I put 10 in the X ring and I'm good to go. And ever since then, I've just kind of been like, I really want to focus on my zero. Like if there's one thing that I can do to prepare for a match, it's like, hey, if everything else is going to shit, if my mags are blowing up on me, like, if everything else is wrong, but at least I know my zero is good. I like knowing that you can put the dot on the target, pull the trigger and hit the steel. Like it's something to fall back on.
Yeah.
It is. And you can't blame anything else. When your gun is zeroed, you know that your equipment's good, and any issue you have after that, it's on you.
Yep.
And so you don't have to second guess anything. You don't like it's a huge thing that people look over when they buy an AK specifically. And I don't understand what it is about the culture that they're like, oh, I bought this gun, it's good to go. You're like, did you zero it? It's zeroed out of the box. It sure as fuck isn't.
No.
Like if I change lot numbers, I re-zero my gun because it shifts.
Mhm.
Now, granted, at 200 yards and in, it's not a huge difference. But when I'm pushing out a little farther, like I shoot 7.62 by 3.9 to 800 yards. Like you're not supposed to be able to do that. And I tell you what, between lot numbers, between the same brand, same manufacturer, everything the same, that bullet will shift, and you will miss that entire target. But people just, oh no, it's fine.
That's exactly what happened
windy.
to me at Masters. Is day one I was shooting some Russian surplus 223. Everything's gravy. That's what I was zeroed on and stuff. Day two comes around and after the first stage, I had to switch over to some Winchester that we bought, while we were down in the Carolinas, and thankfully we had that range to go shoot at and test zero. And I was like, well, I'll be damned. I'm hitting like 2 inches to the right at 100 yards for this. And yeah, I had the ability to re-zero it and just keep that confidence bar high on day two. So that's definitely an invaluable thing to be able to have at matches.
Yeah. Yeah, the class that Rick was talking about is, hey, I had my torques, I have the numbies right, I feel good. You could talk to me like, hey, I did my job, I feel perfect. And all of a sudden I started shooting and I was off. Well, I went from Florida to Wisconsin with this gun. You talk about atmospherics, you talk about all these other things, right? So that just because you put the numbies in, just because you put your alignment, just because all that stuff, there's still the atmospherics, the different lots, all this other stuff. Take the time. Don't just be confident on your laurels. Prove it out. Day before the match, day of the match, prove it. Can't say that enough.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the Clinton house? Because I think, at least Neil, you'd been there before, but I think everybody else, this was our first time going.
I love that place. I can't wait to call it home. Like that's a place.
Tommy's breaking up. I think his microphone quit working.
Oh, no. You mute him.
I don't know what he's talking about. Calling it home or something. I don't know. He's getting delirious. I don't know what he's thinking. I think like he's moving away or something.
Some people want to get out of that state.
Yeah, quitters. That's what I call them, quitters.
Dude, we left at 5 a.m. I couldn't have gotten out of South Carolina faster. Those brave boys in gray, let me tell you.
Oh, the boys in gray.
Wow.
Our heroes.
So, okay, as a person who wasn't there, okay, go around the table here. 1 out of 10, truthfully. What are we saying here? What are we saying for AK Masters?
Oh, like overall for the match?
Yeah, just give me an overall. 1 out of 10. Be honest. No, don't go beating the bush here. Come on, Paul, you're first.
Man, I think I'm at like a 7. Like the match itself, I thought was fantastic. We'll talk about the stages probably here in a little bit, but like there was nothing to do. Like it just felt like you got done shooting and they did the AM PM swap.
Yeah.
And one of the most efficiently run matches that I've ever been a part of. Like shooting, working, anything.
It blew my mind when Tommy texted me at 1 and was like, "We're done." And I'm like,
we
"What?"
started where they were like rounds go out at 7, or like the stage, whatever. The brief started at 7, and then it was like you're gonna go here, and then you're gonna start shooting right afterwards. It was literally like to the minute that they were on. Squad
That's
sizes
awesome.
were great, but we got done, and then it was like, well, bye.
Yeah.
and then that was kind of it. Now, I thought it was really nice. Like we all met up on Saturday night and like essentially ran bags. Well, Scott tried to run bags.
We'll get to
that. But like I really just, the range was so nice and it was so like accessible to get everywhere. And they had a lot of like vendors and also just like PSA. I didn't really like, I looked around and I was like, where's PSA? Like you guys are releasing like a 9mm Jackal. You have all of these bays. Wouldn't you want to be like, here's a new Jackal line? Like, you're out here shooting our AKs. Like, we'd love to have you guys here. Like, I know that from like the gathering, they know how to put on like a big event, but it just felt like, yeah, all right, you guys are here. I know that there were a lot of other matches that were kind of going on in the area too. So, you got to spread it out. Not that same day, but kind of over the last couple of weeks. So I thought the RO staff was fantastic. I thought the stages were fun. I think they could have been a little bit more challenging. They have ranges that go out pretty far. Like I think we were driving like in kind of the back wooded area and we saw some that were like going out to 1,000 and kind of had like some like raceway stuff in terms of like steel. So I think that seeing all of that, and let's say I hadn't seen any of that, it probably would have been higher. But seeing all of that, I was like, could we do more? That's really that. Like that was my only thing. Is like, you guys are PSA. Like everybody knows you.
Yeah.
Like if you put some resources into this, you could make it big, and you could make it like a premier match.
Okay. John, as a newer guy to the AK shooting events, what's your honest event?
So,
or your honest opinion?
I'm gonna change up a little bit. I'm gonna give it an 8, and the reason why is I'm gonna isolate the vendors. And I know vendors are important. I'm not dogging Rec for it at all. Is I don't go to matches for vendors. I go to matches to shoot, and like that's it. I was able to recover. Or like we talked about the efficiency and AM PM times, just well ran. Bam, bam, bam. As soon as we got done with our squad, we were on to the next stage. It felt we had momentum. which I've had before, absolutely get crushed at different matches, 3-gun matches specifically. We're like, hey, you're going to go get ice for an hour and a half? Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
So
That's
I thought,
huge.
yeah. And
Like you get done with a stage and you go to the next one, you're waiting for half the squad.
Yep.
And then like you just ran like, stage 3 and you're amped because you did great and your adrenaline's all pumping, and then you go relax for an hour and 40 minutes. That kills it, dude.
So we did great there. I'm going to echo Rex's view on long distance. I wanted to show that the 300 black shoots flat. The earth is round, but 300 black's flat. I wanted to say that on the top of my lungs, and they didn't really give me the opportunity to do that. There was obviously some stuff where what was that longest one? I think Clay
130.
Yeah, like
that was the longest shot.
Yeah. So
wow.
I'm not.
Hey, but when you hit that 150 with that 300, you heard
I bet, dude.
Yeah. You saw the misses in the grass too. So let's not really go too far into details there. The pieces that I liked about it again was talking about the efficiency, like getting back after and not feeling dog tired for the next day. That's a huge benefit.
Yeah.
Now we were able to go out. I was able to meet some people, talk to people, relax. We had a great time. That next day it amplified it for me. So I think that was awesome. The Clinton House, what did they say? 3,800 acres? Is that the number?
Yeah, it was huge.
To set the scene, you pull in, there's a building, you're like, okay, what the hell am I looking at? You kind of go down a path, and then there's a nice pond. You see great blue herons scraping the water. You see turtles out there. You kind of get to this like natural
Disney
beauty
movie.
that like you're like as soon as you get to this lake and you kind of like go down this small road down it. Look, I'm not saying I got chills, but I was hyped. I was okay. We're here, boys.
Nice.
We noticed only when you stood up, but we noticed.
Scott felt somebody tap him on the shoulder, and John was just standing behind him.
But like that feeling of the range, getting down there, Matt, I would have loved to see a little bit more long range pieces there. They had a lot of burn up stages, I'm going to call them. But otherwise, I had a great time with it.
All right, Scott, your take.
Yeah, so I'm going to be that guy, and I'm going to go right in between at like a 7.5.
Okay. Price is right. I like it.
And not to echo a lot of things that were previously said. So with the vendors and stuff like that, like with ending so early, it would have been nice to see a few things, do a few more things.
It seems like splitting the time like that would be like the premier time for vendors to make some serious money.
Yeah. And
like Paul said, there's nothing to do. You're done. It's like 1 o'clock. Like walk around, spend some money, buy some stuff, shoot some guns.
Feeling good. The wallet's a little loose.
Yeah.
Just got done shooting.
Came home with money.
Wanna buy some things, do some things.
Yeah.
With that being said, we did stop by Bandito Bill's setup and had the opportunity to shoot some machine guns and stuff like that, which was fantastic. It's my first time meeting him. Couldn't be a nicer guy. Him and his crew there. So that was fantastic. But yeah, I guess lack of vendors, like it would have been nice to see more, but that's not like a huge determining factor. One thing that I liked about the plantation overall was the different stages. Every stage had a different feel to it. It wasn't like you're just walking up to the same, 50-yard by 40-yard bay with walls and paper targets. I enjoyed the amount of steel that there was, even at closer ranges. Coming from most of my experience being Thunder on the Tundra, that's nice because we are mostly paper.
Right.
So that was really nice, and that's always satisfying. With that being said, I do feel like the stages were a little bit more on the safe side. There wasn't anything that I saw on any of the stages that I looked at and was like, fuck, this is going to be challenging. Like I'm going to have to really focus up to do this or to do this sequence, or, I know it's not a brutality match where you're, dragging stuff all over the place. But I did feel like the stage designs were a little bit on the safe side. With that being said, I had a great time. Will love to come back. We'll be back next year.
Well, don't say that yet. I'm getting at that after everybody says how much they like it.
But yeah, I enjoyed myself. I'll echo the efficiency part. That was impressive. I think I was told this is one of the more competitive matches out there, and I think that was reflected in how they treated us, both in the safety brief and with the ROs. It's like, hey, we know you guys are capable, good shooters. We're going to lay down the law here, but we're not going to do anything. We're not going to overwhelm you with like, hey, watch out for this here, watch out for that there.
Right.
It was expected that, you know, we were all knowledgeable about our firearms and how to run the course of fire, and that just increased the efficiency, the flow, and everybody's feels during the match.
Nice. Now, okay, before we get to Tommy here, I'll have to say I think this is the year of like the split stages. Okay, I'm not an old hand at competition, right? I've only been doing this, I think this maybe third and a half year. All right, but it like Thunder's doing the AMPMs, Clash Nikon or Clash Bash did the AMPMs, Masters is doing the AMPMs. I feel like this might be like a new thing to split like morning shoots, afternoon shoots, instead of like KCON where it's like you're shooting all these stages today. You know, maybe
it.
I'm wrong.
I mean, I honestly, I feel like it made all of the matches so far that we've done like that smoother. Just
Right.
run more
100%.
efficient. So I mean, Clash Bash for that to move how it did was impressive this year, and that's how they split it. So
I'm interested to
Yeah.
go to a match that does that. So far, all I've done is Winter KCON.
no, well, actually, no, Tundra's doing it this year too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll be short and sweet. But this is I could say became probably one of my favorite new matches that we've done.
Okay.
I kind of studied Clay's video from last year. I was expecting like the slide kind of thing or something extra to, you know, run up more stairs and do. I know it's not, again, brutality. It's not KCON. It's not something like that. So I was just kind of expecting the, you know, go up top, have 2 or 3 stages that you're shooting out to 200. I've always liked the long stuff. I like testing myself, throwing stuff out far. So that's pretty much the only thing that I was expecting that I didn't get. Again, smoothest, fastest, like it blew my mind. We all looked at each other like, what the hell? It's like, yeah, like 12:30, 1 o'clock. We're like, wait, I'm not even tired. I didn't even sweat that much. Like aside the full on sprints for 30 something seconds, like hard breathing. And then I'm like, I'm good. Like shit.
Nice.
So that was cool. The location is just awesome. You feel like, you know, the split between the 2 days where one you kind of felt like you were in the desert Arizona red clay kind of thing,
Yeah.
and then the next day you're in, you know, the grass and in the jungle and stuff like that. Like that was nice. But yeah, like let's say the jungle stage, I would have tried to have a little further of a shot in there or you know, something to kind of spice it up. Or yeah, I like my further shots. If
Right.
you're gonna do steel on stages, I feel like there should be at least 100 steel per that stage, at least to start it off or to end it. You know
Okay.
how I look at stuff.
All right. Neil, the
Besides
seasoned
that,
veteran.
I'll give it an 8. I'll give it a solid 8.
It sounds
It's
like
hard for me
we're
to pick.
averaging an 8 now. That's what we're
Yeah.
getting at until we talk to Neil, the angry guy.
I was like, I'm gonna ruin that bell curve real fast.
Yeah.
So I would give it a 6.
Oh wow, damn.
And
Get
that's
him,
it.
Neil.
That's giving him some love because Clinton House is going to very rapidly become my home range. So
You're not moving, are you?
I am.
Out there?
Myself and Pro 2 are going to be moving to Tennessee,
Son of a bitch.
Clinton House is going to be about 2-hour drive.
Wow.
Which is why I'm sure if you guys looked around, there's a fuck ton of IWI and Pro 2 Customs logos painted.
Hell yeah, there is, dude.
And not PSA.
Yeah, that's what I heard from somebody. We're not gonna get into names here or speculate, but everybody says it felt more like an IWI match than a PSA match.
That's the second year in a row that's been said.
It was a PSA match.
Apparently,
I don't know if they had a single banner up there for
no
PSA.
shit.
Yeah,
that blows my mind.
But as somebody that works for and shoots for 2 of the like platinum sponsors, I've actually brought up, and we as companies have brought up all of your complaints that all of you have made because you're not the only ones that have made that. And I can give you some context though for some of them. Specifically the distance, they allow PCC. You have to. So last year they did PCC targets were different were different targets than centerfire rifle. They were
Okay.
closer in. And so there was a lot of complaint from us of going, hey, that's a different match. Like KB does a sub gun match, and then they
Right.
do the main rifle match.
Yep.
And so we're like, hey, you can do one of two things: make the targets the same for everybody, or do different matches. Either one's fine, but you got to pick one or the other. You can't score everybody in the same metric when they're shooting different targets at different distances of different sizes, because that's a different match. And so they did that this year. The distance comes a lot from that, which I'm a huge fan of distance shooting. I can push 5.56 and 5.45 out to 1,300 yards. I push 7.62 to 800. The problem is most people can't, and they won't, and they don't have the ability to go train on that, which I understand as a physicality of ranges you have access to. They won't allow you to do that. So that's the reason why you're not seeing distance. The vendor piece, they didn't have an answer for, because you can literally sell shit there. Like, why aren't you selling shit? Because we as pro
Blows my mind.
IW Iowa had a booth. Like, if they had given us the option to do that, we would have brought the staff and the products for people to put trigger time on, just like we do at KB. So there's definitely missed opportunity there. I think next year that will come back around. I think next year you'll see more of that, because
Nice.
they did have at least, I want to say it was 4 or 5 open bays that were at least 50 yards long that they could have done something on. And maybe if you're not even live firing, you could have products to handle, touch, finger fuck, and purchase.
In prime position too, between the food truck and where stages are happening. That whole meat and bones area was wide open.
And maybe if the live fire is on the 0 bay,
Sure.
take that left hand side and just take 3 or 4 bays, and each vendor gets a bay, and you do that. There's plenty of opportunity there to do that, and I think you guys are 100% correct in you have the AM PM schedule, which I'm used to, because even our locals do that here, because we push through on a Saturday. If we're doing 3 gun, 2 gun, or single gun, we're pushing through like 200 to 300 shooters every single weekend.
Nice.
I'm out in Arizona, so we have the U.S.'s largest shooting community, if not the world's. So like our matches fill up within 10 minutes for our locals. So we're used to that, and I think they did a good job going to that. But you, again, keep guys on the range, keep guys there, even if they're not spending money. FaceTime with your customers. Get some time in there, because I'll sell you guys Cerakote all fucking day long. So I'm like, look, your shit looks like trash. So why is it all scratched up? Send it to me. I'll get it squared away. It'll be this price.
It'll look like a comic book, and you'll love it.
Yeah, I know. Jamie, you still stuck on that? I haven't seen
man.
your rifle yet either.
I know. It's laying around here somewhere, and every time I look at it, I'm like, I gotta send this to Neil.
I'm pretty sure it's on that back wall right there.
No, my Galil's over there. I want to do the Galil.
Okay.
It'd only be right to send you a Galil.
That's fair.
Not an AK.
What was it? Oh, I'll fight you right now.
We're done with that. We're done with that.
Oh, I'll never be done with that. The internet will never be done with it. Sketchy, what was your complaint? You had stages were too easy. Again, the reason behind that, you have to build stages for the lowest common denominator.
Right.
The big complaint they had last year was too many guys DQ'd. And it's like, well, maybe don't show up to a major as your only match you shoot a year. Like, that's on you.
Yeah.
And so I have very little sympathy for those kind of people. But again, PSA wanted to market more towards the newer shooters. So that's why you saw that trend on the stages. Not saying KB's the same way, but if you guys want to come out and shoot Red October Cold War out here at Rio Salado, it's 8 minutes from my house. That's a fucking match. We pushed to 600 yards with AKs. You're going to get your shit pushed in. It's going to be fucking difficult. It's going to be maybe 112 degrees like it was last year. But you're going to walk off of every stage and go, holy fuck, what just
Nice.
And that's the kind of match I want to shoot. So I'm glad it's local for me, at least currently. So just to give you guys context on why things went the way they did. Like I said, the only one that they didn't have a rebuttal on that we already talked about with them was, why aren't vendors here? And like when we went to Clash Bash, I'll tell you right now, our mag sales that we did on property covered our entire trip.
Oh, I'm sure.
So it behooves you as a vendor to demand a booth.
Yeah.
Be like, I'll show up, because that covered our drive back and forth, our car rental, all the shit, all the ancillary, our hotels, like all that kind of stuff. Like,
Dude, that's in my opinion, I think that's huge. Sorry, go ahead, Paul.
I was just gonna say, I also, like, buying aside, I just want an excuse to hang out with people.
Yeah.
And like
Meet
get
people,
like
talk.
and like if you guys had like a Pro 2 or like an IWI or like Litke with like a House Hunter over there, and I know it's a big ask, especially if like you're a single guy who's doing this, like Litke is Adam Litke. When he shows up to Thunder, it's like just him, and he gets inundated by people, but he does a great job. But like I just want an excuse to stay on the range. And we went over to the Sure Shot booth and hung out, and they had the stock that John wanted, and he was like, "Can I just buy this from you?" And they were like, we don't really have it here, but he wound up winning that stock later on.
Nice.
Which was a funny
There you
twist
go,
of fate
John.
there. But like, I want to spend more time at the range just so that I can, because like our Airbnb was kind of in the same area that yours was, Neil. And then it was just kind of like happenstance that we were all like, let's go to the tiki bar on Saturday night. And that turned into a riot. That was
let's
fun.
talk about that in a bit.
But
that was a good ass time, by the
that
way.
that was great. And again, you could only do that with the AM PM. Like I was looking at my watch and I was like, it's like 8:30. We got to get going if we're shooting tomorrow. And then John was like, no, we don't shoot until noon tomorrow. I was like, another one. Bring me Yingling now.
Nice.
I don't remember the trip home.
Yeah, you were past that. I was gonna say, but like, how do you keep them at Masters? Like, how simple is it? You have 3 sets of bags. You fucking, you set something up like a throwing axe at logs and shit. Fucking have some
social,
fun.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
Well, it's
And
like
just the thing to make it social. Like it'd be super simple to do. I just think that they. So look at it this way: what other match does PSA are they the title sponsor, and do they have a shooting team? The answer is 0 to both of those questions.
right.
So they don't, outside of this match, they don't put on matches. They don't see the other ancillary stuff that goes on, and then their
Right.
shooting team that doesn't exist doesn't go out and bring them back ideas for their new match that they're going to have and the stuff that they're going to do. They
That's wild.
know what they don't know yet.
Hey, PSA, if you're looking to sponsor a shooting team, we might have some spots on a jersey for you.
Might have some room in there. In the
First off,
Miguel Bay jersey.
I think I'm the only one in this this current cast that has or was running their PSA at the match.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So-
very true.
You think you
That's
would have
very
got a
true.
hat or a shirt or something for that, You think there would have been a guy with a box of hats like, you shooting a PSA? Have a hat.
Which-
Why not?
Quick question for you guys: when I was there. I showed up on Tuesday, so I didn't do the normal check-in stuff. When you guys got there, when you checked in, did you get a hat? Did you get a challenge coin? Did you get any sort of?
Got like a tumbler.
Tumblers.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I
Is
got
it a
Tumblr.
Stanley? No Stanley, huh?
No,
But
this
it
Not
one
did
double
have
insulated.
it had the
Single
AK
insulated.
Masters logo etched into it.
Well, I don't have one, so you guys
Yeah.
are lucky.
I stole this hat, which is an AK Masters hat, off of the prize table.
Yeah, so
Nice.
that was a hat from last year.
Overstock.
not to be an asshole, but like that. But so they gave those out last year, and they also had challenge coins, and they have the last 4 years. I want to say.
Okay.
I went to the very first one. I took a couple years off, and then went last year and went this year, and I missed the tumbler, so I'm just drinking out of a glass like a pour. But
Not like Tommy.
yeah. No, whatever Tommy makes out of a bottle, just drink it out of the bottle. It's fun.
Oh yeah, I've been there, buddy.
But
There's no bacteria that can live on the tip of that bottle.
Okay, well, like, all
Just
right,
let you know.
Big John, you won something off the prize table, correct?
Yep.
Okay, now, like, how big was this prize table?
Ooh.
Would you say there was a lot of stuff, or was there
So-
enough stuff?
To put it in perspective, I placed 29th in my division, which
Right.
I understand isn't something high, but that's where there were still decent prizes coming back at that 29th position.
I think we lost
They
that.
had. Ooh,
Oh wait,
good.
there he is.
I have to double check. They had a PCC table. They had irons. Did they have a irons heavy, irons light, and then optic
Yes.
heavy, optic light?
Yeah, I think there
five.
was
Yeah.
there was 5 tables overall, I believe.
Yep.
So
And they
5
kinda went
tables
through-
of stuff for each division.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they went
Okay.
through it all.
If I'm not mistaken, the tables were all relatively similar in product.
Close.
Some of them were because it was based on how large the division size was. So like open light was the largest division. So I think that one, I think there was a Tavor, there was a couple Microtechs that were on there. That one was a little bit more fed compared to, I think, PCC or iron heavy might have been the smallest one, and I don't think that there were rifles on some of the smaller tables, but I could be wrong.
And thinking about what prizes we all kind of saw, there was a lot of rifle bags. I saw a lot of ammo bags, those savior bags. I think a
Right.
lot of the group got those. I got that
I
sure
did.
shot.
Yeah, I get a JMac. Yeah, so I got the JMac stock. You get a JMac stock. It was
Sure
it was
shot.
pretty cool. So they went down the list actually of 10th place, 12th place. Like after all the other people
Right.
were going, they actually went down the division, and I ended up getting my name called. I'm like talking to someone else. They called my name. I was
Tommy,
like, what the
every time
I
somebody
went-
calls your name for a prize, you're never paying attention. Everybody always
No
has to.
idea
No,
what's
honestly,
going on.
every time I've been around you and you have won something, somebody's always like, Tommy, and you're, huh? What's going on? And you win something. So you're never paying
I
attention.
get me and a bottle of booze in the
Yeah.
hand.
But okay, what I'm getting at is like Neil said, and I'm not going to shame anybody here. I talked to a person who donated prizes at an event, and he was upset that, like here, the lack of vendors at the event. And like Neil said, they made enough money just on mags to cover stuff, right? You would think, like I said, I don't know how big this prize table was. I don't know exactly what was donated, but you would think the vendors would be more happy to hand stuff over and donate and like be a part of it if you're giving them a spot to make a revenue while they're there, instead of just, here's
Oh,
$3,000 worth of stuff. I guess we're not going to make any of it back. I'm sure it's not all a cash grab. It's, just, oh yeah, we're donating it. It's a write-off, whatever. But like, okay, say IWI just donated a bunch of stuff to win, or Pro 2 Customs donated a bunch of stuff. Like, it's nice to be able to have some guys there at the event to at least see what it's about, see what the crowd's like, get some feedback from the event, and make a little money while you're at it, and have a booth so that people know more about your stuff. Like, oh, I got this at this booth, or I talked to this guy over here and I want to get one of those. I'm going to buy some of those when I go home, instead of, there's really nothing here to see. It's who's hungry. It's 12:30. We're done.
I've been to some matches where some vendors have shown up and they're like, we're only selling these at this match.
Yeah.
And they have like a limited style where it's like, hey, this is special because we're here and like we want to be a part of this.
Right.
So we specifically did something.
Well, that
for
was
this.
like KCI at Clash Bash last year made all those Hulk Hogan and Macho Man magazines that they sold at Clash Bash. That was it. And I was like, okay, I get that. I'll buy a Macho Man one because I love Macho Man.
For
My cousin used to have sex with
if
him.
you do a 2026 Masters mag, I'm sure those will go.
Yeah.
Things are already in motion. But to the point, and this drives me fucking nuts because it's a little bit on us and a little bit on a buddy of mine. I got an email from a guy like 2 days after we got home, and it said, "Hey, I saw a guy at Masters shooting. I talked to him about his Galil and his paint job, and I really liked it, and I'd like to get something like that done." And I was like, Patrick was on our fucking squad. We were there. Why didn't Patrick point us out for you to talk to us in person? First off. Second off, why is this an email when we were there in person? Because you were there.
Maybe you should have had a booth and handed out some stuff, and maybe people could have looked and touched some stuff and been like, man, I'm going to send my gun to these guys when I get home. But okay, to that note, I've been to competitions, not naming anybody, not shaming anything, where like it wasn't the split system that I've been hearing is working so great this year. And it's just you're running constantly. And the vendors are like, nobody stopped at our booth because they didn't have time. It was, you're done. Hurry up and go to Bay 3. Get over there quick. There's an RO just sitting there twiddling his thumbs, And it's like, and it seems like this split AM PM thing is really a good thing for the shooters, 2 possible vendors to make some money and have people, associate with their products and get to know people. So it seems like there's something that is like working out to where everybody should notice, okay, this should be the standard of how it should go. And there's, we can print money here, basically. I'm not saying shake everybody down that comes to a competition, but like me, I go to a competition, I go to the bank before I leave. I get a wallet full of cash. I'm not even bullshitting. I'm easily sold to.
I totally get that. That's all part of it. Like I said before, you're at a match, you're shooting guns, you're around tons of other people with like interests.
You want to buy shit.
And there's
you don't go to Disneyland and not come back with ears.
Right. Like, oh, maybe I could use a 45 round mag, Bakelite mag tomorrow.
Why not?
Like that's your time.
I see that so much at Thunder.
Mickey Mouse ears?
Not the well, a little bit. The
Yeah.
cat ears actually
Yeah.
on the top of the sword.
Oh, get those out of here.
But
dude.
the Mocus Righteous guys who are big into like AK surplus and like complex
Yeah.
surplus,
Yeah.
they've been at Thunder and a supporter of ours for a lot of years. I see guys walk over and they're like, I need a 40 rounder right now.
Yep.
Like they'll literally, it's just
Yeah.
like in the middle where it's like that last stage, man, this mag, I can't do it. I need a steel mag and I need it right over there.
Yeah.
And there's like a chance to buy that right over there.
Or like,
Right.
hey, my grip broke, or hey, this broke. Hey,
Yeah.
I got you. Thank Muka. If you're listening, buddy. Probably not, because you didn't even want to be on this podcast calling you out. But
He's listening on his ham radio somewhere.
Holy shit.
It hooked me up last year because no, it was the year before. I had the old lady with me. We get, to Thunder early in the morning. The dew is on the grass. The fog is rolling in, slowly rolling out. It was cold. And she's like, I should have brought a fucking hoodie. And then I look over. I was like, hey, man, you got hoodies for sale? Hell yeah, I do. He pulls out the tub. Boom, hoodie. $40. Here you go. Be quiet. Here's a hoodie. You're warm now. She wore it for an hour. It costed me $40 to keep her cool for an hour. And then she never wore the thing again. She doesn't wear it now, because there's an abundance of hoodies in my house. But the vendor was there to help out with a hoodie. And like, say, my hat falls off and I step on it in the mud or something stupid. I'd probably still wear it, honestly. But like, what if I, sell me a cool hat? I'm easily sold to is what I'm getting at here.
Well,
It's like, I just don't get, like, the whole no vendor thing blows my mind.
yeah, like I don't know. I think bare minimum, even if you don't have vendors, you should have stuff that kind of self promotes the match itself. Like apparel. Like I would have loved to buy a hoodie or something.
So you're telling me nobody owns an AK Masters 2025 T-shirt except for the people with green jackets?
Nope.
They're terrible.
Now
Terrible.
I will say this because
I'm going to be in the parking lot.
How
next year.
How much was admittance? $100?
Yeah.
So I mean, if you
Give me a shirt.
If there are,
we're talking PSA. They got money. Shake them down.
If Tundra can do it.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude,
that's
all right.
true.
You know what? I'm going to get on the ground floor next year. I'm not even bullshitting. I'm going to get all the inside information. Ken Neal, I'm calling you, buddy. I'm going to be like, are they giving shirts away at Masters this year? You're going to be like, fuck no, they're not. I'm going to be like, deal. I will be out there in my 87 Caprice, trunk open, shitty music playing. I got T-shirts for sale out the trunk. AK Masters. They're going to the thinnest, shittiest shirts I can get. Like straight concert style, dude. You can't get these inside, man. These are only out here. And I'm going to rake it in with bootleg AK Masters shirts.
Want me to ruin this a little more for you?
Yeah, what's up?
Last year, I'm sure you guys have seen the IWI shirts that have the Galil or Tavor outlines, like the ghost outline on them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We brought 6 cases of those to Masters. And
This year?
No, last year.
Oh,
and just gave them away.
son of a bitch.
Like, literally not even throw them. Just like, who wants one? Take 2. Like, go for it. And IWI, I thought I was like, oh, this is your guys' match. And we're like, sure.
Maybe.
All right.
I want to bring up something you said, Neil, and this is something that I didn't think I would care about, these stupid little challenge coins. But this Vortex Edge one I got sits on my desk every day, and I look at it every day.
And I
because
rub it.
where else am I going to put it? And it's just out there. And like, it makes me kind of feel good. Having an IWI booth that says, hey, if you're able to run this small stage and this part of hit factor or this time or whatever junk it is, and you get a coin, guess what? I'd have an IWI coin right next to it because I would run that not an AK as fast as possible. And I would keep paying until I got my goddamn coin. I can promise you.
You'd be amazed
Like
what small trinkets people will praise.
$15 a run, something.
Yeah.
I would keep lining up. I just keep
Mitten
fucking
State
lining
runs,
Right.
I think it's a 50-50 where it's like you pay $10 and then it's like they've got like a couple of pistols and then it's just like, all right, if you get the fastest time, you get 50% of like however many people like bought in for this run, and it's based on hit factors. And I mean, now I don't think they did very well last year, but like this year I'm showing up with cash and I'm winning that.
There you go. But all I'm saying, dude, is minimal effort with small trinkets with a logo or something on it. Me and Tommy went to this very small event, Greeks with Guns, that our buddy put on, right? I won a Dollar General second place neck trophy, right? And it hangs up here, and I look at it all the time. I'm like, hell yeah, I earned that. It probably costed $1.25, and I don't give a shit because I won that, and it means something to me. And you're telling me PSA couldn't splurge for a shirt for everybody that bought in admittance, you know damn well they probably have an abundance of shirts in that shop somewhere that they could have just been like, man, let's make
Jamie
a
didn't
run
even
of
go, and
these.
he's fired up that he
I
didn't get
am.
a shirt.
I am.
Well,
Neil,
I mean,
I'm
no,
switching
I-
screens, Neil. I'm sending you my address. If you have any more free stuff at any time to send out, don't forget about your boy Jamie. I love free shit.
What's
I-
that?
I totally agree with that though, because like I mean, for those who go to tons and tons and tons of matches, I'm sure some matches are just a match.
Yeah.
I think especially majors, I think there's a shift of how you got to think about things. Like this isn't just another match for somebody. It could be to some, but it's also going to be an experience. And I think that experience lends itself to have some of those trinkets,
Yeah,
or
you gotta have something,
mementos
man.
or something. Like right now, I'm clinging on to a picture of me with a Modelo at a Buc-ee's.
There you go.
I mean,
Memories.
no complaints, but it would have been nice to come back with like.
But see, dude,
a
that's what I'm
shirt or something.
saying. Anything like when I went to Clash Bash last year, and I had Lacey with me. Every table, there's vendors everywhere, and they have stickers and keychains laid out. And I'm like, "Are these free?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, nudging Lacey, "Grab some of these; they're free." So I made sure I got like 2 of everything. I'm like, "Did you get that sticker? Grab that sticker right there. That's free." Just do something. I make stickers. I'll give I'd love to just make some one-off stickers like Midwest Savage, AK. Master stickers, and just hand them out to people. I don't care that it costed me, a couple $100 to print up 200 stickers. People are walking around with a sticker. They got an AK Masters. They're like, I got this sticker. Midwest Savage gave it to me. It means something because I was there. And damn it, I think I'm going to start doing that at every event I go to, just making a random sticker and handing it out to people.
The crazy thing is, like, even wearing a shirt, like I wear a Kalashnikov shirt and I'll wear it around, and I've had people ask me about it. And not everyone's going to be like, "Oh, that's cool. I'm going to look into it." But one out of every 20 people will be like, "Okay, let me look at it on Instagram. What is this match about?" And
There you go.
they get interested because I'm wearing a fucking shirt. Like they saw it and they're starting conversation. So it's like little things like that people don't understand, but you're walking advertisement. Hat, shirt, whatever.
It's huge. It's
100%.
huge.
Doug, I'm going to sound like a shill for Vortex Edge. I'm going to keep bringing it up.
I
Here's
love
a patch
Vortex.
you get in the regular bag, right? Nothing crazy.
Boom.
It's
Boom.
just a dumb patch. But in their match, they wrote something on it. You're super okay. And it's a dumb little saying.
And you are, though, John. You are a great guy.
Right? Have you noticed there's a bullseye there? You know what's on my patch board? Not this one. This one's in the drawer that I had to go get this one because this one, I remember exactly what it was. I remember that moment, and I remember who wrote it. And you know what? That patch now has that experience to it,
Yeah.
which is fun. And like that's the simple stuff. Yo, Neil, you could write a patch on it and make fun of the 300 blacks, connection, the point up top. You can, and you know what? I would love that patch. I'd put it right on my back. Be like, yeah, Neil roasted me for how I put this dead air on.
Dude, it don't take much. That's all I'm saying.
It's great.
And as much as people like to wipe their ass with Palmetto State on the internet, I don't own a Palmetto State shirt. I don't own a hat, but damn it, if they gave me one for free when I went to Masters, I would fucking wear that thing. You know?
After going to Masters and all the conversations that I've had after it, I have never wanted to buy a Galil more than I do now. And I really also want a PSA just because it's
just
like,
a Galil.
I can't stand some of the discourse that's come out of it, especially after how much fun Masters was. And I just got to say, we got to talk about the Tiki Bar on Saturday night.
Hit it.
Because
Tiki Bar was
Hold on, I got one thing to say before we get into that.
yes, yeah.
So going back to our whole premise of what we were just talking about, I'm gonna meme it for a second because we can. You guys ever watch that interview with Denzel Washington and Jamie Foxx?
I'm leaving here with something.
Yeah,
I'm around the block. I'm leaving here with something.
Yeah.
I'm around that way, bro. Like I'm leaving with fucking something.
Yes.
Like, that's
Well, I think Paul and Scott both proved that they were leaving Masters with something.
like I don't care what's happening. I'm leaving with something.
Yep. Yeah. I also love the Jamie Foxx when he does the impression of Denzel. Like, get your hands off me. Get your hands off me. I love that. I've watched that a lot. But yeah, we're leaving here with something. So actually, final stage, before we get to the Tiki Bar, final stage, Scott turns to us and he's just like, "Hey, I'm leaving here with one of these signs."
Leaving with something.
And I was like, yeah. And I was like, absolutely, brother. Like, we will smuggle this out for you. Like, this is going into the back of the Chrysler Pacifica for sure. So I turned to the RO and I was like, let's just say that the sign that's out there when we're done with this, disappears. What happens? Do you get in trouble? Because that's really like I just didn't want the ROs to get in trouble. Those guys were really
They're gonna
cool.
yell at him.
Yeah,
Kurt, you were in charge of stage 7. Where is the sign?
Well, and that's
coming out of your
exactly what I didn't
chest.
want to happen. So then we get done and we tear down the stage, and we were like, "Hey, if we help tear down the stage, like, could we get one of the signs?" And they're like, "Why are you asking? You guys are the worst criminals of all time." So, like, I get back to the van, and there's two of these signs in here. This one, and then the one that's behind Scott. And Scott's just like, "You wanted one, right?" And I was like, "No, dude. Like, I was asking for you, but I'll take it." So then they're both in the back of the van, and then Justin, the match director, is going around, like, right behind us in the golf cart, and he's asking about where these two signs are.
Nuh-uh.
The timing's a little off. So I run, grab the van, and the van, for whatever reason, the back door didn't open besides the button or the key fob. You could not open it from the outside. And I'm just taking my time getting in the van. Like, we're wrapped up, we're ready to go. I hop out the door. I'm like, all right, time to go get some stuff. And, I won't put names on anything, but there's somebody there with two signs in his hands looking at me. Open the fucking door. Open the fucking door. And I'm just like, guy, chill. Like, what? You gotta fucking go. And, okay, and I open it up, and he just throws it in. And that's when the match director is actually driving by at the same time.
Because I saw him coming down the road, and I got these two. Well, somebody had these two. Guys.
I
You're the
tried.
worst criminals in the world.
Yeah, I've never committed a crime before. And I'm seeing him come down the road or whatever, and I got these two signs in my hand. I was like, "Oh man, the van's coming. He's coming. Like, I gotta do something." And yes, that was my one demand of John of the weekend, was to open up the damn door.
Somebody.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
But
So
I
he was
think
legit looking for the signs.
Yeah,
They
he
were-
was asking for them.
we
That's
were
funny.
pretty cool squad. Like, I would say if you voted for us, I know, I wasn't there on your squad, so I can't speak for that. But I think all the ROs really enjoyed our squad.
we had multiple
Oh, yeah.
ROs say that. Yeah.
So I believe, and again, I won't say what stage it was, not 6, not 7, it could have been 8, 9, or 10, nobody knows. That RO, I think, ended up running some interference for us because he knew the crimes may or may not have been being committed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he said, or he may or may not have said, "Y'all owe me."
Yep.
And like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things that, like, those are good memories, man.
Yeah.
See,
Speaking
you
of
leaving with something. You got a trinket that means something to you. Damn it!
But
Like,
No,
what were they?
honestly.
Honestly, okay. If you didn't take those signs, what were they going to do with them?
probably use them again next year.
Okay, what's it cost?
The budget's tight.
What's it cost PSA to make a sign? I know they got the money.
It was the most
know?
signs they had out there. Was those ones?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not hurting, dude. They're not filing for bankruptcy because they don't
It
have a
doesn't even
stage
say
6 and
PSA
7.
on them.
Yeah, that's what
No,
I'm
it
saying,
doesn't.
dude.
You guys should put some IWI stickers out there.
Yeah, coming
looking
soon.
back, I think it would have been great to sign them as a squad. I think
That
that's
would have been
Oh
fantastic.
yeah, that would have been fun. Yeah.
I think those are good things to do for squad memories for the squads, especially when you get a good squad. Like, I think
Yeah,
that's
see,
something
maybe
for
if
us
they
all
would have
to
had
remember.
shirts, you could have had your whole squad sign your shirt, but I guess that's not happening.
Speaking of memories, the boys, all of us had quite a good time Saturday night, I would say.
We did a tiny bit of drinking. Some of us more than others.
Is this the
And I
tiki
gotta-
bar? Are we talking about the tiki bar
This
now?
is the tiki bar.
All right.
Scott, I
Tiki
got to
bar.
tell you,
Tiki.
that was an impressive amount of drinking, and then to bounce back as well as he did on Sunday.
All right, well let's just. Scott's a freshly new dad. You let a freshly new dad out the house. He ain't got a kid to watch, dude. He's letting loose.
It's like
Okay,
a tiger in the jungle, man. I'm gonna
Scott. He came back home hoping there wasn't a drug test at work. He went and got some penicillin right out the bat. He was like, I had a crazy weekend, but now I'm a dad again. Everything's fine. What happens at Masters stays.
I don't know. It's something with beer. I don't know. It just maybe
feels
it's
good on your lips.
maybe it's the Wisconsinite in me, but like I can go beer and wake up and be cooking eggs in the morning. No, like I don't know. It's just that's
Well,
just how it
Wisconsin's
goes.
known for being like the most DUI state, ain't it?
I don't have a single one.
Well, I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying they love.
It's also the most alcohol.
Fun fact.
I'm just saying they love to drink out there.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I think one of the funniest parts was they had cornhole set up bags, and Neil is and people are looking around to play, and Neil turns to me and he's like, "You're from Wisconsin, right?" I was like, "Yep." And he's like, "You're my partner for bags. 'Cause
Hell
we
yeah,
got to do this." And we almost ran him. But actually, the real runner of the night was Manuela,
Really?
who was
Outlook guy.
unstoppable on bags. That was an impressive. That was a Jordan flu game.
The sleeper.
Holy shit! Because
Yeah.
I think she torched you a couple of times, Scott, and then I think was she undefeated on the evening.
She
So
was.
She
She
stopped. I
was.
kept going after, and then we dropped that one game with the strangers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it was a humbling
Yeah, but-
experience on the bags, which I mean I was in good spirits, but it hurt. It
also,
hurt.
when I say tiki bar, I think it elicits an idea of like a drink cocktail with an umbrella in it.
Yes.
And then Tommy went up and said, "Could I get a Moscow Mule?" And they were like,
Hell
"This
oh.
isn't that kind of place."
Okay.
Yeah,
Which is
and I was like,
it's 3 ingredients. It was very much that kind of place
Yeah, right.
because it has tiki bar in it, and they were like, "No."
They didn't make you a mule?
no.
Thank God, because if I was there and they were throwing out mules, dude, oh, forget it. I get crazy on mules.
Ne'er a copper cup in sight.
Dude, if my hand touches copper, forget it, dude. I am lit, and I will be handing out chips like I was at KCON. I was feeling good at KCON. They had
Get about it,
they had a huge
Forget
box of
about it, Kyle.
potato chips, and nobody was eating them. So I just started ripping into them, and I just started dumping chips on like everybody's plates.
Everyone walking by.
Dude, everybody was eating like a brat with a pile of potato salad, and they had like a mountain of chips. And like this fucking guy keeps just dumping chips on everybody's plates. I was like, chips for champs, let's do it, dude. I was feeling good. I'm not. Well, Mark. I sit next to Mark. He's like, "You want some vodka?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not a vodka guy." And he's like, "You are now." And I was like, "Damn it!" And I'm not a vodka guy.
I'll
there
be
it
at
is.
Krebs this Saturday. Maybe I'll. That sounds great, actually.
Vodka?
That
With
place
Mark.
reminded me a lot.
You don't want to drink vodka with Mark. Mark drinks.
Yeah, you're
Mark
staying
won't-
there. You're
I
making
gotta
something, boy.
drive.
Mark throws down a handle like it's a Capri Sun. Okay,
What were
that
you gonna
dude,
say, Neil?
he'll show you a thing or two.
That reminds me of somebody else with Jameson.
Yeah. Oh, I know a guy.
I don't know who you're talking about. I'm drinking vodka tonight. I'm almost out.
I feel like you're talking about these guys.
Yeah. Right.
Yep. The Hollywood Squares. It is definitely the X and the O's.
Yeah. See, maybe it's a good thing I didn't go this year because I'm easily sold to him. I'm very easily influenced. Like Neil. Neil would just have to look at me and go, "You want some Jameson?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I'll drink with you, Neil."
I mean, I don't. There's not a scene in one of your videos where I'm thrown up in a berm because I drank too much.
Dude, I gotta let people know how hard it is, dude, and how hard people fight.
Well, that's how I felt. I got to meet some people that I've talked to in the past, or done some work for, and it was like very cool. Like finally, I got to meet you after a couple years, and then next thing you know, I'm on his Instagram story twerking to try and get somebody to miss
There
their
you
bag
go,
shot,
dude.
and I'm like, okay,
I saw that.
unapologetically myself. I won't say sorry, but you know what? Quite the example.
That wasn't Scott. That was Sketchy out there.
That's very true. Very true.
Sketchy was definitely at the tiki bar.
Always be unapologetically yourself. That's
Absolutely.
the biggest
100%.
life lesson that I've ever learned.
Yes. Cheers.
The bar was so good, right? And there was no egos there. There's no nothing. We had some friends. They're just chilling, hanging out. It wasn't much else. Did I meet? I think I met Clayco 47, if I say that correctly.
When he's drinking this, he's that. Yes.
Yeah.
H-Town pulling out in the camo 10s was kind of the vibe.
H-Town has some sneaker game. Okay, I'm sure he's going to listen to it. He's probably waiting for us to bring up his name. Specifically,
Mi amigo.
Me and him connected immediately on. But I didn't even actually know who Neil was. Truly, like, he was just a guy. He's a combat accountant. Like, someone helped me connect the dots when I got home. I was,
yeah,
that guy is cool.
Oh, the guy Neil?
Yeah.
That's what the whole time was. It's like, oh yeah, oh shit, wow. Well, for me personally, I was like, fuck yeah, I did talk to that person and acted like an absolute fool the rest of the night.
Nah, dude, that's how they remember you.
Dog, I was sitting in a rocking chair like in the beginning of the game because I gotta drive home. I'm pacing myself. I found the sun out there. I'm like, guys, I'm gonna play this the long game. And I just watched a for a little bit as I was rocking there, thinking about the ice cream cone across the street, which I am sure
Oh my God.
there's some stories that need to be told, not by me, but there's some
You
stories
guys
there.
went after?
What's that?
You guys went and got ice cream after?
We had
Oh, yeah.
quite the trip to the ice cream
Yeah.
When
store.
the fuck did we get ice cream?
That was up our mind. I was like, when the fuck did we get ice cream?
Yeah. So I'll let some other people bring that story up because I don't want to do it any injustice.
Paul,
But-
have at her.
Oh no, John's got something to finish here.
I keep coming. Oh man, we could talk about some crazy people that we met along the way.
I was gonna say there was an ego that we met there in the chairs.
I wasn't gonna
Nobody-
gonna bring it up, but like,
Was that the
That was-
interior alter ego?
look, I'll lock in.
No,
I'll
no.
lock it in for the story, boys. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get into it. I'm enjoying my fucking rocking chair. I'm having a good time. It's me, Rec, Sketch, Tingley. We're just vibing. Actually, the party's going on the beach, and it felt like, hey, we're here. I had a Corona. Everything was good, and then this bitch walks up, and she's all of fucking every bit of trash that can be out there, acting like she's strawberry blonde, but she's not. And she hits me with one of the birds, fast. And look, I'm quick on the draw, boys. 2 hands right to the sky. You ain't gonna give me nothing. My fingers are bigger than yours, and I'm not gonna fucking settle for shit.
Wyatt Earp didn't have anything on those hands.
That was
like-
a quick draw.
I'm telling you, I hit her quick, and she got recoil. Like, I'm not. Don't you fucking, I'm enjoying myself. Leave me the fuck alone. Anyway, she's toasted. She's gone. She has sunburn that's trying to match her strawberry blonde dyed hair. It's rough. Does she have a Derringer like tattoo
She had
on her head?
She had the ultimate red flag tattoo, which was
That's
like
classic.
the lace
Oh, the garter with the-
tattooed
oh,
on the side with the
dude.
pistol stuck into it.
Why did no one text me?
That's what I'm saying.
Doug,
It was
Doug,
a
there was only
32.
4 rocking chairs. That's the problem.
We were
That's
trying to
wild.
save you, Neil.
So
You
she
know
goes
that's
in,
problems right
she
there.
goes into the
dude.
bar. Well, before she goes into the bar, she apologizes. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to go. And really, it's not actually that bad. I'm just getting a little animated by the memory of it all. And she walks in the door. I immediately turn to Rec and go, she's going to come back. And she's going to say, this is 100% a boomerang. That is, as hard as you can throw her away, she's
I'm
coming
waiting
right.
for the end of this. I want to see where this goes.
Well, she walks by. She leaves us, and like, I'm at this point, I'm kind of in shambles because I called the shot. Like, Bambino to the yard.
Boom.
This is happening. She walks by, doesn't give us any look. Then, about 4 feet past us, she stops, turns around, and of course, there she comes back at it again. And like, I just was so happy because I thought I was going to miss my shot. I don't care about anything she's saying. I think this is when Sketch gets a little bit
Oh yeah.
hostile.
There was some. Yeah, Scott was like trying to be like kind of sarcastic with her, but it came off as like "fuck you, get away from me," like just like super aggressive. And I was like trying to turn to him and be like, tone it down. But like,
Well, because I'll tell you exactly what happened. She came back, and before she got a word out of her mouth, I said, "Yeah, you better keep fucking walking."
and these are like local lake people. You know, she's gonna go back and she's gonna be like, I'm gonna get Big Bob to come over here and beat the piss out of you.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm all of 5'8", guys. You know, I can run, but I can't.
But we've got Big John. That's the thing.
Yeah,
When we've got
the
John. You can just be
enforcer.
like, you would hit a little guy with glasses. Not when John's here.
nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, it kind of wraps up the rocking chair experience, and it really was. It was
That's
a good
it?
moment.
So
The
I was-
boys.
So right after this, we go and we get ice cream. So it's us.
Is she
and then
there?
our buddy? No, she's not. But it's
Oh.
our buddy Josh, and Josh is like yoked. And I mean, he's eating. He has to eat like every 2 hours.
All the
and he's
trend.
eating. Yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
eating like unseasoned turkey meat in order to meet like his protein goals. and
Yeah,
everything
dude,
like
you
that.
gotta get it.
So before we go over, we're like, hey, I turned to him and I'm like, hey man, we're gonna go get ice cream. You got enough in your macros in order to do that? And he's like, hell yeah, brother. He's the most southern New Jersey guy that I've ever heard. So we go over there, and of course,
Magazine.
it's geez, we got to talk about that too. But it's us, kind of everybody. It's us and then Jeff. So we get in there, and I know what I want out of ice cream. So I go up, and they've got kind of like your different things that you can select. So I get the sugar cone, the small one, get a single scoop of the Superman. And Josh turns to me, and he's just like, "You were asking if I had room, and you're going to pussy out, and you're going to get just one fucking scoop? Are you kidding me, man?" And he's just laying into me for all this. Now, mind you, Jeff is sampling all the ice cream they have in the store at this point in time.
One by one.
Yeah, literally. Let me try that one. Can I try this one? Can I try this one? So I'm
the
telling the
sample
people
guy.
behind the counter to be like, cut them off at 3. Otherwise, he's going to sample all these. And Scott has them go through and he's like, what's this one called? Sugar cone? What's this one called? Waffle cone? What's this one called? Well, this one's the bigger one. Has them go through like 8 or 9 times, like what all of the different options are. The guy behind the counter looks exactly like the dude from Meet the Robinsons, the old Disney movie. He's got the hair and the round glasses. Exactly like that. And I mean, we're just harassing these people. And there's a mom and her 2 kids that are in there who cannot get out of there fast enough. So also Show orders a banana. We get in there. He orders a banana split like a psycho. He gets like 5 scoops of ice cream. Yeah. And it's like got the clamshell that holds it on top.
All vanilla, hot fudge, nuts.
Gets
and
all of
banners.
it. Gets the works, which is insane. So, I mean, it takes us forever to get this stuff. I've already eaten my ice cream. I'm ready to take another lap on these things. We're still harassing these people. They get on the radio, and like the owner comes in from the gas station next door, and he's like, "Y'all having fun in here?" And then they've got Squirt, which is an RC Cola in like the cabinet. Keep the big guys honest. Respect. Shout out to them. But I mean, we're just like jawing these guys for like 10, 15 minutes. And I tip them $5. And I'm like, I'm really sorry for the harassment, all this. But being so close to that bar, they just must get harassed like all the time.
Oh yeah.
They dealt with it really well. They actually came back at us a couple times with like snarky comments and stuff like that for like the 16-year-old kids that they were or whatever. They handled themselves so well. It was a lot of fun.
I miss it even more now.
The cone thing is undersold in that story, and I want to make sure you guys all encapsulate this memory as locked in as it was. So you had 3 cones. You had Sketchy. Do you remember the 3?
It was a mini cone, small cone,
Wrong.
waffle.
Wrong. Cake, sugar, waffle.
Dude, I said it so many times. I'm honestly ashamed of myself.
I can't believe you didn't have that. So you had cake, sugar, waffle.
It was
Those
a
are the
night,
3.
man.
Yeah, it was a long night for you. Those 3 things, right? All in a nice little cone holder. And the lady is, right next to the counter looking at Sketchy. Who just, if you can imagine the counter, here's Sketchy's eyes. Which one's this one? And like, he's going one after another. Like,
I was
sugar,
mixing it
waffle,
up. I was
waffle.
hopping.
Yeah,
on.
it wasn't. And as fast as he's pointing, this girl's just report. I come over. I have to stop it. There's too much cringe. There were probably like 12, 13 of these arrow bounces back and forth. And I just put my hand on the back of his neck. It's like, we're done. We're done. I can't be an accomplice anymore. I have to drive you home. I don't want to be associated with this any farther. And he just politely goes, okay. We're done. Quality.
Yeah, Tiki is that's going to be definitely a Saturday night thing yearly as well.
Yeah,
Sounds like a
I
blast.
can't.
Because
not
we definitely took that place over. We started with like 4 people. I turn around, you guys pull up, and then fucking Neil's like, where you guys at again? I'm like, Tiki. He's like, shit, that's across the fucking street. He just walks across.
I'm not gonna
great
lie,
time.
Big John. I thought that story was gonna end with you and the gartered tattoo girl, with you ending the night with her in a camel clutch, and Paul screaming to keep it down in the next room.
I want you to know she gave some bedroom eyes to Rec. There was but as a good guy, as those eyes were coming through, I'm swatting them out. Like, no, absolutely not.
It wasn't her, but there was a certain level of trash at this establishment.
Nice.
That is,
keeps it entertaining.
there's a certain level of trash that I am just like very attracted to.
Trashy out.
And there were
like
some tattooed lips on some butt cheeks that wandered away and got onto a ski-doo, and there were some wandering eyes going on. I'll just leave it at that.
Jamie,
it's like that garbage bag that's so full that it might break open, but you just trust it. You just trust it and you take it out to the trash.
I hate this analogy. I hate it so much.
It's not a hefty, but you bought it at Costco, so you trust it a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
But for context, this is a tiki bar that's also a biker bar. That's also
Oh,
Both,
okay.
both your guys.
Lake
That
bar.
just changed the whole scenario for me.
Yeah.
We were there and had dinner there the night before, and we got some guys yelled at because again they asked for some boozy ass drinks because
Yeah.
we're Arizona boys and we like our fucking cocktails apparently, and they're like, yeah, we don't do that.
We got Bud Light.
And I literally looked at the guys and I was like, stop it. Look at where you are. You have 3 ingredients. One of them is ice. What the fuck do you want? Like, we're done. And they're
That's
like,
funny.
oh. And then we walked across the ice to the ice cream John after that, and didn't have to get escorted out, but we definitely bought some kids ice cream, and like we realized that we were in the wrong place with the wrong mental fucking capacities at that time.
I am definitely going next year.
So I'm glad that there was 2 nights in a row. They were like, these fucking assholes again.
Nice.
So we ordered burgers at this bar too. At least I did, because we're kind of on like a burger tour of the world somehow. And I got it with like the works. And for some reason in South Carolina, they're obsessed with putting chili on burgers.
Duh.
That's your
Like,
second time, right?
Yeah, every place that we go to. So I was like, don't put any chili on here, please. No chili, because
And
the
don't
night
order-
before we went out for dinner to a Zaxby's that didn't exist, but all of a sudden we're in the downtown of this town, and it's just like, well, shit, we're here. We might as well go over here. So we order, get the burger with the works. Gal goes around and repeats back all of our orders. Both John and I are like, hey, yep, you got it right. Just make sure no chili on that, please. All right. She leaves, comes back again, and is like, you didn't want chili on that, right? Yes, ma'am. Please, no chili on that. Like a third time, somebody else comes over. No chili on that? Yes. Again, please.
How much
no
chili was on it?
It was like I asked for quadruple chili.
The boys
It
from out of
was-
town don't want no chili.
Yeah, but it wasn't good. Like
Ugh.
it was. I wish that the burger would have been great if it didn't have any chili on it. So we go to the tiki bar, go in, and they're making
Chili?
well, there's chili that you can get on the burger, but I was like, I'll take the burger with the works, please, no chili. And they were like, come back in 20 minutes. All right, anything could have happened in that 20 minutes.
Right.
The cook could have washed his hands. We don't know. So we get the burger back, no chili on it, thank God. But what is on it? They cut an onion in half and then just put the whole onion onto that burger.
Nice. I'm an onion man.
It was too much.
I would have
ever-
loved it.
You ever bite into an apple?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's,
And
it
just
felt
eat it
like
like an
that
onion?
with the burger, but with onion.
I felt
Hell
like I was
yeah,
a horse and I
brother.
was getting fed. I had to keep the burger with an open palm. Otherwise, I
love
was
me
going to
some
lose some
onion.
fingers.
So a little
dude,
mustard on there, dude. You're in business.
not for me. Not for me. But
Chicago speaking.
Yeah.
but the burger ended up being pretty good. But that place was fascinating. I loved it because it was lake people, it was bikers, it was townies, it was us. It was a microcosm of everything that was going on, which
Yeah,
was a little
right.
bit of nothing.
Awesome.
It was great.
And a fucking bounce house at the gas station.
Yes, yes, there was a bounce house
How
at the
could
gas
you
station.
forget? Very
yeah.
appealing on the way to the ice cream shop.
Fill
That
up and
bounce
get some
house was
jumps in?
looking like an opportunity.
I feel like
Yeah.
we got to call this out. It was Harris Landing, right?
I'm
Wonderful
not gonna
spot.
remember.
Man, I can't wait to go next year.
I want to go find the Google reviews right now.
On the chili burgers?
Here we go.
Harris
Google
Landing.
reviews. I've got Harris Landing. Is this establishment dog friendly? The seasonal outside tiki bar is pet friendly and accessible by water. The inside restaurant is not.
There was
Yeah.
definitely some dogs there.
There were dogs inside. I don't think you have to worry about taking your dog inside there.
Oh, that dog.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Woof, woof.
funny.
6 years ago, waited 1.5 hours for food while watching people come, eat, and leave. Hamburgers are the best, though. That's kind of crazy. If you had to wait 1.5 hours for those burgers,
Dude, did Rodrigo
That's
eat
on
there?
you.
Did Rodrigo eat there?
yeah, I think so.
If
He's
he
probably
ate
got a
there, look
review
for
up
his
there
review.
already.
That dude reviews every place he goes to and eats. I'm not even joking, dude. He let us in on that when we had him on the podcast. He's like a huge food reviewer every time he goes somewhere.
He is a character, dude.
He's
So-
like the what's his name? Garth Knight to my Michael Knight. He's like my evil twin. Like, you know, is that Midwest Savage? No, that's H-Town. Like I showed Lacey a picture today. I was going through old pictures. I was like, you know who this is, right? And she's like, yeah, that's H-Town. I know him. And she's like, I can hear him talking through the picture. And I was like, oh, okay. And then like 2 minutes later, she's like, I should have said that was you. And I was like, yeah, real funny, real funny.
Krebs fucking did.
I think the funniest part was that Jeff went for the seafood, which
Ugh.
looking at this place was a gamble.
Seafood's always a gamble, man.
The crab, the hard-shelled crab, or whatever. it
If
was.
I can't see the ocean from where I'm at, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I eat a lot of shrimp, and I live in the Midwest. Okay, whatever. Shrimp are they're regional here.
Fresh
Okay.
caught.
Yeah, fresh caught shrimp, fresh caught frozen shrimp. Okay, but like some seafood, dude, like it's got to be a very nice establishment. Like I'm not walking into a tiki bar and being like, "Ooh, you guys got salmon, huh?"
Yeah,
I'm
no.
not doing that.
There were some lake people there too, and lake people get down because their skin's mostly leather at this point in time, so
Oh,
they just
yeah.
don't feel anything anymore.
Seasoned.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, I'll say like percent of the time, if I don't catch the fish, I don't eat it. I don't fuck around. It's
Tommy, you don't eat
unless I'm-
anything that you don't jump on the back of and slit its throat. We know that.
But I got a question, not to derail from the food conversation, because I know that we always like to talk about that on this podcast. I have a back on topic
Yeah,
question.
thank you, Neil.
That shot. I got you, brother. I know. I could tell you where you're going. You're like, I can't interrupt these fucking assholes. I got you. What were in order? Rec, John, Sketch, Carbon, myself. What was your favorite stage? What was your least favorite stage from the match, and why?
Oh man, I feel like I think I answered this on Clay's Live, and I still like I keep going back and forth on it. I really like the Spiker stage. I think I'm going to keep that as my favorite stage. That one was just fun. It was the only stage gun that was out there. It was like you could shoot it a couple different ways. I wish that I shot it the way that you shot it, Neil, because after I saw the video of you shooting it, I was like, fuck, that was the right way to shoot it.
Did you go up top?
Yeah, that's why the overall stage went on that stage.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
but then also the thing that you did, because you had to hit the steel twice,
Mhm.
is you hit the steel, you came back for the paper, and then you went back for the steel instead of doing paper, steel, steel. And I saw that, I was like, shit, I wish I would have thought of that.
I didn't hear that stage plan on Friday.
Hey, he's got to keep some of the quiver. And then, I mean, the other one, it's none of the stages, in my opinion, were bad. There was just one that was boring. And that was the one that was kind of your traditional USPSA stage, where you had kind of the big grid, the big kind of like square that was laid out, and with some kind of triangles off to some sides, where it was like you can go over here and you can shoot like this, but it was really just like shoot the targets. You can stand anywhere that you want in the shooting area. And I just felt like for all of the other stages that I thought were fast and really interesting and like could only be done on that bay, like they had some unique kind of land features that they were really employing, like you were shooting down almost, it felt like a tunnel. I just felt it was the weakest of a good batch.
Trying to follow that up. I don't know the right numbers of the stages. So this was the upper level one with the ladder.
Stage 8.
Yeah.
There's some other stuff that kind of happened before. It's our first stage of day 2. We thought there was going to be a safety prep or match before a little thing. Turns out there wasn't. There's some miscommunications on our parts. So we get there kind of late. And the guy was actually, like, hey, you guys are supposed to be here now. Okay, well, let's throw in our stuff. This is the stage walkthrough. Bam, bam, let's go. And then all of a sudden, you guys will catch up. You guys will catch on to the match or the stage. Just watch this. And then all of a sudden, they said, next up, John. Like, oh, okay, cool. Let's just get it done. And I thought everyone else kind of either braced their gun on the window frame or the railing up top. I didn't have time to think. It was okay, time to go. And I stood up there and I felt like a man. And I think I was quick on that stage. It was bing, bing, bing. There was one miss on steel, which the guys let me know I took down a tree with the 300 black. That's an actual quote.
Nice.
And then you run upstairs, and I don't go down to the railing at all. It just fit nice. Bing, bing, bing. And it felt so smooth. It felt good. It felt like I didn't get in my head at all. I enjoyed that stage because of that the weird happenstance that led up to that stage. And again, just a little bit more multi-level.
looking at practice score, that was your best stage as well. You took 18th in your division on that one.
Yeah, and it just felt good. And really, that's 320 pounds rumbling up some stairs, boys. You're moving.
We heard. We heard.
You made them stairs dance.
What was your least favorite, or
Yeah.
kind of the bottom for the stage?
It's trying to not pick on the USPSA stage again. It's hard not to pick that one again. I think you put it well. Great stage, just not the best. Or great match, just not the best stage of the match. If I'm being forced to pick anything else, and this one, I'll say tongue in cheek, is that damn Suburban could have been a little bit bigger for me. That's all I would say.
They don't make bigger Suburbans. It's as big as they get, bro.
Yeah, dude, that's a good Suburban.
Look, I just
a fucking Econoline van, and
Where's the get the man Suburban
I
out
want a
here?
Ford Excursion. Dennis the Menace took down the sign.
He's doing him right now.
Look,
Feed me.
Dennis.
I really just said that to see Neil's reaction. It got me everything I wanted and more. Thanks, Neil.
I got you.
Is it me or
I will pick on the whoever. Doesn't matter to me.
No, you're good.
We'll just
Yeah. I will pick on the USPCA or whatever that Animal Foundation stage was. Just because but it's two-part. One, because of the lack of creativity. I just think it was very vanilla. But also, this is talking from I could grow a little bit here, is that was one of the few stages where I did have a stage plan, and then when the beep went off, that went out the window. And watching myself do it, I was like, okay, well, if I just move left to right, everything will appear, everything will be fine. When I look back at the footage of me doing it, it's like, oh, I take 2 steps up to go see this one, didn't need to do that if I just kept moving off. Contrary to what I just said of it being a simple, easy stage, it also showed me some areas where I need to grow myself. With that being said, I do still think surface value, it was the most bland of all the stages. Nothing flashy, nothing crazy. Not that every stage has to be that, but there wasn't any like, okay, let's go up, let's nail this stage. It was like, oh, well, okay, we'll just do this stage. And it's probably just more of a personal thing. Favorite stage, Big John, was the Suburban. I liked the 3 facets to it. I liked being able to burn it down in the beginning with the paper targets. I liked the slight skill shot of, eject the magazine, take that one hit on the red steel. There's always a little bit of pressure on that, even though it's, relatively the same distance as all that paper was, but you got one shot. And then just being able to hustle around and throw my ass in that Suburban, and then shoot from a different shooting position that I did not shoot at in any of the other stages, was fun. And I enjoyed that. So you got some distance, you got some up close, you got some skill shots. I think out of everything, and you got to run around a little bit. I think that was full circle for me. That was my most complete stage. It was probably one of the stages I did. Might have been my best stage as well. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that one. Plus, with what happened with Josh on that stage, would be gotta mention that. So before you run around to the Suburban, you eject the magazine, you got 1 round in the chamber, and you hit the steel. It's a safety move so you can run around into the Suburban without having to worry about a live round in the chamber. Buddy Josh forgot that ejecting the magazine was part of the stage. So one of our guys is up running the stage, ejects the magazine, takes a shot at the steel, and runs away. The second he starts running around the Suburban, Josh goes, "Magazine!" and is pointing to it on the ground, and everybody's like, "What? What?" I think he even caused the shooter to be like, "Wait, what?" But that I almost pissed my pants when he did that.
There's some backstory to that, and Josh, I think he'll say the same thing as me. Is sometime or when the beep goes off, he's an idiot.
Yeah,
he gets things. He does dumb shit, and he's fast. I think he still plays well, but if I remember right, he had the most penalty time.
Yeah,
just by dumb mistakes.
He had the 3rd most penalty times out of anyone in the match.
I think he got like 80th, 86, something like that. So not terrible
Yeah.
placement even
No.
with that.
Not at all.
Obviously not great, but I'm not trying to dog that. But that stage before that double decker, he forgot to shoot the ray of steel.
Hmm.
And after he comes by, he's like, guys, if I make a mistake, you just gotta let me know. And like I can't do his accent anywhere near it. So in my mind, when I hear him go, magazine, I imagine him. He is truly trying to help somebody out.
Yep.
Oh,
But at the
that's
same
what
time,
made it so funny.
the beep went off and he forgot the stage plan. So he was able like I think he knocked his ear pro off in the back of that small Suburban as well.
Yeah, and then he didn't know that he could just like
he could
hey,
stop, yeah.
stop, or
Yeah, so
like,
then
hey,
he
can
just-
I reshoot this, or like stop and put it back on. So he had his ear pro knocked
sending
off,
them.
and then he just kept shooting out of the back of that.
Fucking
And then he
shooting.
gets out of it, and I was like, hey man, how do you feel? And he's like, I got a pretty big headache.
That's probably why he yelled so loud. He couldn't fucking hear himself.
Yeah.
Well, that was hilarious. Oh god.
But yeah, out of everybody who shot, and Josh honestly did pretty well. Like he was
Yeah.
very fast. He just had a lot of penalties. But he took 42nd in his division, and he had 102.5 seconds of penalties for the third most of the match.
A lot of potential.
That's a low
Yes.
penalty. Like it's low.
Well, he cleans that up, and I mean, he advances like 40 places.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Um,
I think I know.
yeah.
I think I know which one you're going to say here, Tommy. But I'm not. I'll let
so
you-
it's gonna be a little bit of surprise, but I'll start off with the worst one. There isn't a second worst, honestly, because I can't really put any in that. The rest of them are pretty fun, pretty okay. But again, the USPSA one, I was supposed to go to 3 positions. I ended up going to like 5. Kind of shit the bed on that one. Passed the target up. That was the only one that I shot, did not get hits on, and it is what it is. But I just don't. I'm not a fan of those stages because the stage planning goes to shit, and fucking I forget which way I'm supposed to go. As far as my favorite, there's 2 that I'm favorite for. One is going to be because it was the best time that I had, and I'll get back to that one. The one that I actually think I liked the most was the like hallway running one, and then there's more paper targets to the right. I forgot what stage that was.
Stage 1.
Stage, yeah, okay. So it was the one, yeah, where it's like the long hallway, and then there's the 3 steals out straight, and then the 2 last ones. That was just fun to shoot. Like that was just like a fun one to. I did great on steel, so I was able to start moving pretty quick, and then again the walk and shoot helped so much with the day before, and I just felt comfortable. That was a really cool run. Just right, like it was cool. The other one was the one that I fucking burned down, and I love that shit. The only one where I felt like what I planned exactly, like just it went textbook, and it showed after just burning through the paper. I ended up getting 1 alpha that I needed, and I shot it clean. So that was just like a great moment for me. But yeah, I'll leave it at that.
That was stage 2, so that was the balance
wobbler.
beam stage with the
wobbler.
wobbler on that. Tommy,
If you see the
you got.
video,
Is that shows overhead video? That one?
Yeah, the drone one. Yep.
Tommy, you took 8th in division on this one in open light, and then overall, I believe that you took 12th, which was some serious competition, including a lot of PCCs. Was incredibly fast.
Yeah, what I found was that little mini barrel on stages like that. It's so nice to swing around. That's the second thing that I took from Neil's class was just fucking driving the gun from the first target to the next. Like especially if you have that like 90-degree from left to right, and it's just quick pop, move it, get the shooting. That was one of those stages where I was like, I need to get. Because you're shooting 180 and 180 pretty much on that stage in 2 positions. So it's like that time is going to be a lot. And then the other main thing, like balance beam, I felt fine with. The wobble, the guy that kind of goes through everything with me stage after the stages and goes through the video, give me to anytime there's a wobble, like run up to it and hop on it. Like if you watch my video, I actually hop on, it stabilizes quicker than anyone that's trying to walk onto it. So both of my feet hit that platform at the same time, and I was able to start shooting fast. So that was like, yeah, that was my favorite stage because of how I executed it. But yeah.
We had talked, or not just me and you, but multiple other people had talked before when we were doing our walkthroughs that did you end up taking those couple shots from the balance beam at that final array of targets? No, you did not. Okay.
No, I did not. So I was going to, but I figured as I'm swinging and I ended up passing up one of those targets. So I looked back at my time. I could have shaved like 2.5 seconds off if I didn't skip one of the targets that I came back to. Okay. But if I left it, it would have been 10 seconds. So the 2.5 made up for it and still gave me a good time. Sure. But yeah, I mean, again, you're not going to remember everything. You're not going to always do everything perfectly. But it's like if you try to push yourself to that point, and I just kept hearing him like, if you can fucking walk and you can fucking shoot, do it together. Get that shit going. So yeah.
All right, Neil.
All right. Well, funny enough, that's that stage Tommy shot. He immediately found me afterwards and was like, "I beat you on a fucking stage." Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I know. I thought I could stand on a balance beam my whole life. Apparently, I fucking can't now. That was a little embarrassing and a good time. And you definitely earned that. You got me by only about a half second, but in this world, that's what fucking matters.
It counts.
It counts for a lot, actually. My favorite stage was the shoot house. I hate to say this because it's stupid, but like I love CQB work. Like as someone that's done it in real life and then in competitions, like it just kind of gets me back in that. Because I'm running armored, I'm like, oh, we're fucking doing this. Like, let's fucking go. We're shooting people again. And this is a good fucking time. Oh, yeah. And, I had a blast with that. And I love seeing that at that match every year. They changed it up, but I like hard corners. I like walls. Do I take this target from this window or can I get it here? Kind of those kind of stage plans. My least favorite stage had to have been the river stage, only because as a right-handed shooter, I understand why they did it, and I understand that 90% of matches are right-handed friendly, but god damn it, like it just didn't flow the way I wanted it to, and yeah, I mean it, and that's the only complaint. It's because I'm a right-handed shooter, and it favored lefties, but I didn't do too terrible on it, didn't do too great, but it didn't feel like it flowed as well as the rest of the stages, which I'm sure it felt like that for 99% of people outside of Brad Amos on our squad, who is a lefty and was like, fucking thank God, finally. So, yeah, that was my least favorite, but that's nitpicking at this point. I felt like they did a pretty good job. I like the USPSA stages. I do a lot of that style of stuff, so I'm super comfortable with it. But I can totally understand why you guys hated that one specifically, because it is a very specific skill set to develop. And like you said, as soon as the buzzer goes off, you're like, what do I do? And like I rehearsed that a bunch. I sit there literally. I can remember right now, you stand there, buzzer goes off, take one step forward, one target to the right, 10 more targets, move all the way to the right corner, through the window, take one, take another on the move, and then take another 4 and you're done. But that comes from shooting a lot of USPSA style one gun matches. Mm-hmm. Not just pistol stuff, where I'm just super used to it. So that for me was a very comfortable stage, comparatively.
Now, Jamie, after hearing us talk about all these stages, obviously we don't want to rub it in your face too much.
I thought you were going to ask me what my least favorite one was.
What I want to know is, what one do you wish you were there for the most? What one stage makes you think, like, hey, maybe my son's graduation might have not been worth it.
Yeah. No. I like the shoot house one. Looked the most fun to me. Where like Rodrigo said, you have to start with 2 cheeks on the seat. They wouldn't let you just put 1 cheek on there,
Yeah.
both cheeks.
Both cheeks.
But
That
yeah,
one-
I like stuff like that.
Those 5 targets when you exited the shoot house, just being able to just plug away. I mean, that was
Those
fantastic.
5 targets made me buy a new trigger. Like legitimately, I was just like, I can't get the splits that I want on this. And I went back and I looked at my video, and I was actually very happy with the way that like I went across the array. Which it was like, hey, it's one big target, and like it was essentially like I just kept plugging. It wasn't like bang bang, then move, bang bang. It was like I just kept going through all of them, but my splits just weren't there. So I'm out trigger shopping now to make sure to really try to chase kind of the performance that I can get out of it.
What are you currently running?
So that was stock in my M90.
Oh,
So I went out and I got an ALG, and I was never really on board with the ALGs before this, but
now
I'm putting some work into this because I put it in and I didn't like the way that it felt. And I know that you have to reprofile some areas, and everybody kind of recommends to do that. So I started small, and I've just kind of been racking it and not really like doing a whole lot with it, but I can see where there's some areas where I can kind of get hung up, where I can throw some polish onto it. But if one thing that John and I are actually talking about doing is trying to limit the over travel on an ALG by actually coming in and putting a set screw in there. What's up, Neil?
I have a solution I'm working on for that right now. So Brian, my boss, his Timmy, the disconnect snapped off on stage 8. So he had to finish stage 9 and 10 with my rifle. Because Timmy's like, there's a cassette trigger, right? So when it breaks, you're fucking
done.
There's nothing you can do about it. So the AK Masters last year, we had 4 of our shooters put new ALGs in, and they all of them went down. So we're done with ALG. We're good at Timmy. His Timmy went down, which weirdly enough has less rounds on it than mine does. So it's got to be some sort of heat treatment issue, whatever. But what we're looking at, by we I mean me, but I need him as a welder because I don't have that skill set, is I'm going to build up on the under part of the actual trigger of the ALG. We're going to do some instead of using a set screw, we're going to just do like a short run of weld, put it in the mill, take it down, fit it, take it down, fit it until we get that nice crisp, just 1 mil movement, and get rid of the pre-travel and over travel of the ALG. But the problem with that is you have to do that per gun. You can't just like, it's going to be one of those things like send me your gun and your trigger to tune it. I can't just like Dissident does their 2 stages and they tune their stuff. You can't do that with something like that. But make a ultra fast, no pre-travel, no over travel, and mechanically take it out. Like HBI does that with their Bren 2 triggers. Bren 2 has a terrible over travel, and they literally put the little nubbin like on a Glock on the back of their drop-in trigger, so the over travel is now gone. So I want to build that into the flat of the bottom of the ALG.
And that's almost essentially what John and I were kind of talking about. But one of the interesting things about the AK trigger guard is it kind of comes up almost in a perfect way where you can kind of drill and tap a hole into the rear of that trigger guard and then put a little set screw in there. But I'm curious.
Screws fail.
They do. That is true.
And that's why I want to go with the weld side of it. Because the less mechanical things, the less Loctite they can move. Because screws, even if you Loctite it, get it hot enough, do whatever, they can shift a little bit and either make the trigger not work because it set itself too far and now you have a dead trigger, or it pulls it and now you have over travel. Whereas with a mechanical, like physical stop, there's nothing left.
Yeah.
I think you're on the right track, and that might probably be the path least resistance we use at home. But looking at longevity of stuff and less things that can fail, the weld is kind of where I'm looking at stuff for it.
Yeah. What are you thinking, John?
I got 2 things. One that's been teasing me all damn podcast. Neil, what's going on with the finger? Is this a welding accident?
No. So so right after we got back from Masters on Friday, I have an old war wound from the early GWATs. Took a bit of shrapnel to the finger and had it removed. years and years ago. But there's been a growth that comes back like every 3 or 4 years, and no one knows what it is. The VA doctors like, we've had it dissected, we've done this, and so it came back, and I had to wait until I had a time with no majors and matches to shoot. So I had it removed Friday, and now I've got this silly little
All right.
thing. So
Well, that's good, because if it was welding in the trigger, I was going to say, hey, I don't think this is going to
Hey,
work. for
maybe
you.
you should probably.
Screw seems like a
piece-
good idea.
Yeah, the
Right.
piece there-
Outsource.
Yeah,
Screwed.
you are right though, 100% about screws move. Tandem cross makes a lot of those competitive triggers for whether it's the 22 marks, they have a whole series of them for everything. A lot of pistols have that, and it's trying to find the right way not to have too much screw. So like we're looking at farther back in the trigger housing to make that screw as short as possible, so there's the least leverage as possible. So that's really a fun thought for us to mess with. But I would love for us to try it out and then for you to use it after. So if it does work, you can bet that I'm going to ask you to mail me one of your guns so I can do it for you, because obviously I'm going to be the gunsmith of choice for this.
I got enough. Like, and this sounds like a little bougie, but like I have enough laying around. I'll fucking ship you one, and you can. Like, I'd like to see the do it my way and do it your way, and kind of and run them both, and kind of see where.
The tandem cross, the big call out there that they said was that depending on what your heat was, because of course metal contracts and all this other stuff, right? Or cold heat, that you can still tune the thing to be as perfect as it can be. Now, how tight do you want your gun to work? Like, hey, if you're in the sandbox, you want a little bit more tolerance.
Right.
But if we're trying to make, like I came from the world of an Elfman 3-gun trigger, which is ungodly. To me, it's the best trigger that there is. I don't want any movement. It breaks. Bing, bing, bing. That's what I want.
Until they fail and go full auto.
That's just me shooting.
Well, that's just fun.
Oh no, it's not. I've definitely watched that happen on multiple 3-gun matches. I'm like, Elfman, they go, yeah. I'm like, you should probably swap that out for a guy.
You're not wrong, but I just want you to know I have the fastest finger in the Midwest when that happens. That's me.
Are you married yet?
I have not broke mine yet.
It's like you might want to.
Yeah.
Are you married yet? Hey, bro, you better. Hey, some girls listen. My boy's got the fastest fingers in the Midwest.
I heard the girls in high school loved Big John's fingers.
Jesus.
They're big, they're fast.
My mom's gonna watch this, guys. It's gonna be nice.
She should be proud.
Okay, Mom. So you can't watch past.
Yeah. Speaking of, I should have known this when we invited Neil. We're almost at 3 hours. Okay.
Oh shit.
Now, not that I don't love all of you, but I have to work tomorrow for half a day, and then I have to set up a competition for Saturday, which I don't know what I'm doing. So it's going to take me all day Friday to set this thing up.
Is it the first one you're doing?
Yeah, I finally talked my local gun range into letting me do something like this and have people sign up, and people have signed up and they're excited to come show up.
How many shoes you got? I'm excited. For you now.
I limited it to 15. I think I have 15 because there's like people. Yeah. And
Nice.
that's just 4. I'm gonna do 4 little stages just to ease people into it. But it hasn't even happened, and I already have people texting me today. This isn't gonna be the only one, is it? You're gonna keep doing this? I'm like, dude, it's not up to me.
That's
like,
that's fine. Though. Guys
Yeah.
haven't even shot it yet, and they're like, I want to shoot another, and you're like, bro, shoot
Yeah.
the first one first. Come on,
Yeah.
come.
I mean, I think I've got some pretty, decent beginner stages with some funness and a little bit of thinking involved in it, to where it's not, I'm not sending them off to KCON or anything crazy like that. But I think it'll be a good time. I think once it's all said and done, everybody will be like, when is the next one? And then I think the range is going to be like, oh man, this guy Jamie's not just a weirdo. He's on to something here. We can make some money. So I got that to go.
It's unfucking that mentality, so it's good.
I honestly think I'm going to make a YouTube video on it, because I think it's a good thing to document and to let people see, because I hear all the time, my range doesn't let me do this. And it's like, dude, I've been arguing with these guys for 2 years and it's finally happening. It's like, you have to kind of be persistent on it.
You're gonna do
I
an
think
early
100%.
zero thing.
Huh?
You're gonna do an early zero thing. Make sure
Um,
everybody's good to go before.
This is the thing. I'm not doing early zero. I said in the announcement, make sure you're zeroed, but
Sure.
between the hours of 10 and 12, they have like the range is open to anybody to shoot their long distance shit. And so if people are
Probably
smart, they would show up there before and make sure their rifle's zeroed, because the 10 to 12 is the long distance full range shoot, and mine starts as soon as that's over.
Do you have their emails, or how did they sign up?
I put a post up in like the gun club's like Facebook made like a stupid little reel video,
That's good,
and
that's
Paul like rewrote everything I wrote because I sound like a child when I try to write things.
I
But-
only ask is that you can tell people if they were smart, they would do it because they're probably not smart.
Yeah,
You can try to save your time and make their experience better that way.
I'm pretty sure they're all gonna enjoy it because all they've been doing is asking about it, and it's
Awesome.
and like it's a bunch. I think, like I said, it's 15 people, and there's only a few people. Like there's a couple older guys who are like, "Oh, I used to shoot 2-gun and 3-gun, and this club hasn't done anything like this. I'm excited." But then, like, I'd say 11 people have never done anything like this before, and they're just excited to get their rifles out and actually do something rather than sit at a bench, which
Yeah,
I think is great.
I can remember the week leading up to my first match where
Yeah.
I just had like everything laid out in my living room. And I was just like, I was like, do I need 3 pairs of pants?
Yeah,
Like, and this was like a 1 day 4 stage.
Yeah.
Like, just like it was like super small. Because then pretty much right after that, I was going to Red October in Utah when they were years and years and years ago, and I was just like, all right, everything needs to work well. I've got 3 pairs of pants. Do I need to buy an extra bolt? Like, what if my bolt just blows? My
exactly.
had like 40 rounds through it. I was like, do I need to order another bolt? Well, where would I even find another bolt for this?
I understand. That was
I
my
don't even know what
first.
Headspace is at this point in time.
My first one was
Enter the
Thunder.
backup gun.
My
Yeah.
first was Thunder. I had no clue what I was doing. I just was watching Clay's videos and a lot of other videos forever. And he had one video that I just watched his like back catalog of like shooting competition. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna find something. And I found Thunder and I was like, that's not far away. And I loaded my truck up like you would have thought I was going on a cross-country trip for 2 days, dude. Like the whole back's just full of like I had like 4 different guns. I had all the extra parts and all the tools and everything. I'm like, what if something goes down? You know, I'm gonna have to fix it in the field, you know. And it was just, and now I'm like, yeah. And now I'm just like, no, I got a pair of underwear. I'll turn them inside out. I'm good for Saturday. You know, let's just roll. Let's get this going.
The only thing that I still roll deep on is batteries.
I have
I
so
feel-
many batteries in my bag, and you know what? I've never.
I was
I
going to
wouldn't.
say
I haven't.
underwear.
I wouldn't say I've changed batteries. I just buy so many optics that there's always a fresh battery in something.
Batteries and socks.
Yeah. There's always
Socks
like I
are
just
filled.
opened my Vortex today, fresh battery. I don't got to worry about that for a while.
This EOTech is out of batteries. Throw it away and buy
Throw it
another
away.
one.
Put it on Reddit. I'm done with it. EOTech for sale, no battery.
I have so many batteries in my pack. The only reason why I have so many in there is because whenever I'm like getting ready for a match, I always just replace the battery because I never remember like whenever I replaced them. So
See,
then
I'm
it's just like I'm
terrified.
just gonna replace this, and then I never like I never use the ones that I actually bring as a replacement.
See, if my battery goes down, I'll replace the rifle because I feel like if I replace the battery, I feel like if I replace the battery, the zero's gone. You know, I'm
Throw
just like,
rifle shoot magazine.
yeah, my optic died. Can I go to my truck and get a new gun? You know, I have a battery. I don't want it. I don't want it. My zero's going to
thanks.
be off. I want to go get the other gun I have.
Hey, doesn't that Hollow Sun have the the solar backup on it? It's cloudy out. I can't
Yeah.
use this.
I don't like the
Yeah.
solar backup on some of them.
No, they're dumb.
Some people reload their rifles. Midwest just changes out the entire rifle.
Yeah, it's that time of year. I got to switch everything up on my rifle right before competition.
Magazines are completely disposable. You load them once, and then you unload them through the firing action of your firearm,
Yeah,
and then get rid of it. It's used.
it's trash.
Yeah, it's done.
Like I have new furniture coming Saturday, and I have no idea what rifle I'm gonna put it on because I'm scared to take any furniture off of the stuff I've already put furniture
Well,
on.
you better change those batteries before you change that furniture.
Optic, new optic.
Sounds like you need more guns.
I have a handsome amount, but I just don't know what to do with all this furniture.
It
Do you
sounds
have
like-
a magazine?
Yeah, magazine.
Magazine.
But I love you all. If you're listening, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. You know the deal. It's the Shooter Are You Ready podcast. And Neil, thank you. Big John, thank you. Tommy, you know I love you. Scott, thank you. Paul, as always, you're always here with me, so I don't even have to thank you.
Thanks,
really.
guys. Thanks for jumping on this one.
Thanks for having us.
It's been
But,
Later, guys.
yeah, you guys are good. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Love you all. Everybody, have a good day. Have a good night. Tell a friend, tell a homie, tell a ammo. Savage 25. See you guys later.
love y'all.